So I am calling the regular city council meeting to order. Today is July the 20th. The time is now 6:32. And so if you all would stand for the flag salute, and if Councilmember Perez can lead you.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Can we pump up the volume on her?
Melissa, if we can you put the Zoom part louder? And then I'm about to call roll. Councilmember Lopez,
Here.
Councilmember Perez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Here.
Mayor McQueen-Lejeune,
Here.
and let the record reflect that Councilmember Gama is currently absent, but he is on his way.
Great. And we'll move on to Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez for the inspiration.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Honorable Mayor, City Council colleagues, and neighbors. Tonight, I want to talk about how we see the youth of Port Hueneme, specifically those who enjoy tagging public places. This weekend, I was dismayed to learn that Grocery Outlet was again tagged. I also noticed that the cargo container unit next to Alaska 261 monument was also tagged. The monument itself has been previously tagged and vandalized. Not too long ago, I organized a group of volunteers to paint over graffiti along the Patterson Avenue flood channel, only to see it had been tagged just a few days later. I'm mad. I'm frustrated. It's easy to be angry, and our first inclination is to respond with punitive measures. But when we look at a blank concrete wall like the one at Grocery Outlet or a utility box that has been tagged, it is easy to see it simply has a problem to be scrubbed away. I decided instead to do some research on possible solutions. One suggestion I learned is that if we change our perspective, we might see tagging as something else, a loud, urgent cry from our youth to be seen, to be heard, and to leave their mark on the city they call home. As we know, our city's name comes from the Chumash word Hueneme, meaning a resting place. But for our youth, it must also be a place of possibility. We cannot expect our young people to feel civic pride if we do not give them a hand in building it. That is why tonight I am championing the idea of creating a Hueneme Youth Street Art Initiative. Instead of chasing kids with fines, let's hand them the paintbrushes. Instead of continuous expensive cycle of graffiti removal, let's build a bridge of mentorship and creative expression. We already have the incredible local tools to make this happen right now. Empowerment through partnership. We can collaborate with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Oxnard and Port Hueneme by leveraging their newly renovated STEAM and digital labs. Our youth can transform raw creative energy into professional graphic design and authorized mural concepts. Reclaiming public space through our Department of Recreation and Community Service. We can take underutilized concrete walls near our parks and beach recreation zones and turn them into vibrant legal canvases celebrating our maritime, military, and cultural history. REACH could also help Hueneme Youth Street Art Initiative by serving as a community nonprofit partner that can raise, receive, and distribute funds for recreational, educational, arts, and cultural activities in Port Hueneme. There is also a restorative opportunity by working with our Port Hueneme Police Department. We can create a diversion program. Let's offer minor offenders a chance to restore the community through art education and mural preservation rather than pushing them into the justice system. Sustainable funding. We can fuel this entire vision through the Community Benefit Fund, ensuring this investment in our youth doesn't compete with other vital city services. When a young person stands back and looks at a beautiful authorized mural they help create, something profound shifts inside them. They no longer see a city that excludes them. They see a community they have a duty to protect. Let's stop painting over the symptoms of youth disconnect. Let's invest in their potential, beautify our neighborhoods, and show the region that Port Hueneme leads with heart, innovation, and trust in our next generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Before we go any further, just want to make a quick message. So as you all saw initially when I was connected to Zoom, you couldn't hear me. We did do a audio check and it worked fine, so I'm not really sure what happened. But given that, if by any chance I lose connectivity, I'd like to just make sure that our Mayor Pro Tem is ready to move forward with the meeting and has a script. So we'll go forward. But if anything happens, Mayor Pro Tem, we'll be ready just to take the meeting forward. That would be great.
Just a point of personal privilege. If you could mute yourself while other people are talking, because there is some background noise coming through. Thank you.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to our public comments. And these are not pertaining to the agenda items. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
Yes, our first public comment is from Luis Garcia.
Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Luis Garcia. I have a home at 1443 North 5th Street here in Port Hueneme. And I had an experience with one of my roommates set the room on fire. And the investigator says, well, you know, there were competent sources of fire, but I could not determine where it was. And I told them, well, the person has a problem with always being anger about the situation. Everything goes wrong because of their fault. So he was there 25 minutes before the fire started, and he left 25 minutes before fire started. I came over here and I brought it to his attention. I came to the police to make a follow-up report. The sergeant was receptive, made a report. I talked to the commander. He said, well, the investigator may be able to talk to the person. The arson investigator says, nothing I can do unless there's more information about it because it's inconclusive. The police says, nothing we can do because the arson investigator says there's nothing to conclude. So nobody is willing to do anything about it. So that's one of my problems that I have, that the investigator that we have are not listening. I'm come to the police department one time in the last 35 years, and they are being told, this is not what we're not gonna do. Well, how come they don't tell me what you can do instead of helping up? So I don't think I'm getting the support. And see, if I'm a person asking for help, I'm the person who's gonna tell you how well you've done on your job. You might be doing all this stuff, but my concern is I'm here asking for help and you're not giving me any support. So I asked, well, can I speak with the chief? Can I make an appointment? Let me ask him. 3 times I asked, and 3 times was declined. I don't have not met with the chief. I asked for his help, and they wouldn't do it. So there is other complaints that have been done on the police department. Since 2016 to 2022, there were 26 complaints. All were inconclusive, and they were not determined. But where is the feedback? What is the takeaway from those complaints? How do we make things better with the feedback that the complaints that we have are not being seen receptive to see, okay, well, how can we make things better? Because you're getting it from the people who are taking the time to say something about it. Anyways, I think there should be a process where all those complaints can be looked at it as what is the takeaway from each complaint so that we can improve instead of doing our own agenda and not being seen as we are a source of feedback improvement. And so I would like to see that happen again. And also, you know, would like to get some help to do that. I already addressed some issues. It's here and there. It's going to pass. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I think it's important that our feedback is seen in good faith and it's something to improve and not something to say, oh, you know, we're going to dismiss it because we're more important.
Thank you, sir. Your time has ended. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Mayor, if I could just quickly note, Mr. Garcia,
Sure.
I think we should have your contact information. Okay, so either somebody from my office or perhaps today, I know we have a police presentation, but we'll have somebody connect with you.
And then we have Guillermo Ceja Jr.
Hello, good evening. My name is Guillermo Ceja Jr. I live in this beautiful city of Port Hueneme, and I have with me, I'm also president of the Ventura County Fairgrounds, and I brought with me members of our Junior Fair Board, and we're going to present a poster of this year's fair theme. So with that, I'll step back and I'll let them do their presentation.
Hello, my name is Aurora Ariano. I will be a college freshman and I'm from Oxnard.
Hi, my name's Delilah Hartwich. I currently go to St. Bonaventure High School, and I am a member of the Ventura County Junior Fair Board.
Hello, my name is Aiden No, and I'm a rising senior in Pacifica High School in Oxnard.
We are members of the Ventura County Junior Fair Board. The JFB is an organization for high school students throughout Ventura County focused on youth leadership development and community engagement. During the fair, we put on classic games like watermelon eating and karaoke. We are here on behalf of the Ventura County Fair to present the official 2026 fair poster. Over 300 young artists submitted their artwork for consideration this year's youth poster contest. We have seen a remarkable increase in submissions over the last few years and can attribute that to the elimination of any fee to enter the competition. The incredible artwork created by Ventura County youth never ceases to amaze us.
All right, so submissions were judged by a panel of community partners and fair team members, and the winners were announced as, in third place, we have Simon Shapiro, a 6th grader from Simi Valley. In second, Mika Sanchez, a 10th grader from Ventura. And this year's winning poster, right here, was drawn by Annalise Cohen, a 9th grader from Camarillo. In addition, we are excited to share that the grandstand concert lineup for the fair is, bear with me, I will probably pronounce some of these wrong. On July 29th, we have Bush. July 30th is Marshmallow. July 31st, Iration. August 1st, Jake Owen. August 2nd, Herencia de Patrones fi Banda Magui and Banda Toro. August 3rd is Ashanti and Bow Wow. August 4th is Switchfoot and Hoopstank. August 5th is Nate Smith. And we have 3 days of rodeo, August 7th through the 9th.
In addition, we will have special admission days on Wednesday, July 29th, which is $5 before 5 p.m., Friday, July 31st, Youth Day, Tuesday, August 4th, Seniors and Persons with Disabilities Day, Wednesday, August 5th, VCCU Member Day, Thursday, August 6th, Community Heroes Day, Friday, August 7th, Food Share Day. We would also love to see you at the Junior Livestock Auction on Friday, August 7th, where hundreds of other Ventura County youth exhibitors will be selling. Oh.
You can go ahead, finish.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead and finish your sentence.
Where did I left off? Sharing their youth exhibits and their livestock projects. We hope to see you all there.
Thank you.
And that concludes the in-person public comments. We did receive one written comment, general comment for this evening.
Great, thank you, and thank you for your public comments. We're going to next move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
Move to approve?
Second.
Great, thank you. Madam Clerk, please take a vote.
Okay, Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Councilmember Gama,
Yes. Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Yes.
Mayor McQueen Lejeune.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
great, thank you. Do we have any council members that have a conflict of interest to disclose for any item on the agenda? If not, we'll move on to our presentations. Our first presentation is the introduction of our police officer. And I think Chief Federico is in the room.
Yes, Chief Federico will be presenting.
And before I begin with this exciting news, I just want to say I did just speak to Mr. Ortiz briefly. I don't think he realizes he can reach his chief at these council meetings, my office, which is 50 feet away, or at any community event, but he's going to wait for me in the lobby while we talk to him about his issue. Tonight, Mayor, do you want to mute your?
Mute, yeah, for some reason it got loud for a minute.
Thank you. Nellie, come on. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm very excited to introduce our newest guardian to your community to join the rest of your compassionate, respectful guardians here at the Port Hueneme Police Department. I bring to you Officer Nellie Garcia. Nellie is one of 5 siblings raised in Santa Paula. Nellie has said that with hard work, determination, and the willingness to push through uncomfortable moments, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. I think that's why she's achieved what she has so far in life. She earned a bachelor's degree in social work from Sacramento State University. She began her law enforcement career as a police services officer at the Simi Valley Police Department, where her duties focused primarily on parking enforcement. She later joined the Ventura County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff, where most of her time was spent with jail custody duties. Away from work, Nellie enjoys spending time with her friends and her family, and she's very excited to begin her next chapter here at the Port Hueneme Police Department. And in her words, she looks forward to serving our community with professionalism, integrity, and compassion. Ladies and gentlemen, Officer Nellie Garcia.
I just wanted to say a few words. I am really excited and looking forward to beginning my career here in Port Hueneme, and I'm thankful to everyone here and excited. Nice meeting everyone.
Welcome.
Great, thank you. Would anyone like to have any words? Council members?
Yeah, I'll go first. This is Councilmember Lopez. On behalf of the City Council and the residents of Port Hueneme, I want to welcome you. Taking the duty to protect and serve our community requires dedication, integrity, and a commitment to build trust in our neighborhoods. Adding your energy and perspective to PHPD is a true win for our city. Officer Garcia, we are proud to have you on board, grateful for your service, and excited to see you on the streets. Welcome aboard. Thank you.
Officer Garcia, we met briefly at the Beach Festival, so I got to know a little bit about your background and where you came from and how you chose to be here at Hueneme. So I just want to say again and reiterate, thank you for choosing Hueneme. Thank you for coming and serving our community, and it's great to see young women. You guys are outnumbered. Of course, our men are great, but it's nice to see young women step up. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for choosing a career in law enforcement. It's very difficult, and it's a challenging role, and I think you will do very well in our city here by the beach, and I like to emphasize beaches, like we have a beach, and I think that's where I met you. So
Yeah, I love the beach. Yeah.
That's great. There's no better place to be a police officer than the city of Port Hueneme. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Nellie. Coming from Santa Paula, I too prefer Hueneme and prefer the beach. It's much cooler here and very nice place to work and to live. You know, you come with a lot of great experience, your degree in social work, your experience with Simi Valley PD and the Sheriff's Department. I have high hopes for you. I think you're going to do very well, and I hope you stay with us for a while and you promote up the ranks, and I look forward to seeing the good work that you're going to do. Thanks for coming over here to Port Hueneme.
And I'll just end with saying thank you for choosing us. We're always excited when we get new officers that are starting their careers. I'm looking forward to seeing you for many, many years. So I am glad that you're with us and so appreciate all the work that you're going to be doing for us. So thank you in advance. Would you like to have any other words? Or
No, I think, Mayor, if you don't mind, we'll take a photo quickly.
Great, thank you.
One, two, three.
With family too, no?
Any families?
Are these all Santa Paulans? Yeah, welcome.
Hi, Mom. Oh, is it?
Somebody knows the rules.
One, two, three.
Congratulations.
Okay, we're going to move to our next item. We have a presentation from Food Share Ventura County. So we're going to ask that Ms. Monica White, the president and CEO of Food Share, come forward. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to come and speak tonight about the state of hunger in Ventura County, and as well as right here in Port Hueneme. So again, my name is Monica White. I'm the president and CEO of Food Share Ventura County. Do I do it? Or?
I'm sorry, I'll scroll down. For some reason, I have a PDF.
Okay.
So just bear
we'll
with
get
me.
there. So we have a lot of slides, but I go through them very, very quickly. So just a quick history about Food Share. We started nearly 50 years ago in a 2-car garage by some friends who were feeding some veterans who were living under an overpass in Ventura, in the city of Ventura. We have outgrown our current facilities 50 years into our mission of feeding our hungry neighbors. Our founder, Jewel Petty, who it was her 2-car garage. She recently passed away at age 98 and was still calling me up until the very end saying, Monica, you're still feeding people, yes? And we said, yes, Jewel, we're still feeding people. This is a great picture. The next one here is a picture of, yep, we'll get there, as the volunteers in the very beginning of, they were going in front of the tractors out in the fields right here in Ventura County, collecting excess fruit, vegetables, and they're actually running to make sure that the tractors are saying, hurry, we need to plow it under after they had already gone through. So I love these pictures. We do not go in the fields anymore, and you can keep going. Today we source our food from a variety of different sources. The majority of it does come from retail stores. That food that is no longer able to sell is still good, that Best Buy date. We are still able to collect that food and be able to get it in through our system. We also get food from our ag partners, growers, the Port of Hueneme, gleaning people's backyards, and then we also have the government commodities for the county. We get that, they give us the food and a small amount of dollars to pay for that, for the distribution. And then food drives, that's a really big one, 500 a year, where people are gathering food and being able to get it into the food bank. And then anything that we can't get through the rest of those sources, we purchase. So we purchase about $2.5 million worth of food on an annual basis. And a budget of $10 million, it's actually a really big portion of it. All of that comes into the food bank, which is Food Share, and then goes out through a variety of different programs. The majority of them are our pantry partners. We work with 200 partners throughout Ventura County, all nonprofits, who get the food from us at no cost whatsoever, not even delivery. We also have group homes, we have shelters, after-school programs at like Boys and Girls Clubs. Our drive-through distribution in City of Oxnard at College Park has been going on since the start of COVID, so it's been 6 years. We also have congregate meal sites, and then we have a senior kit program that is a government program as well. So let's get a little bit into about the state of hunger. You can keep going. Last year, FoodShare served 254,000 individuals. That is an unduplicated number. We know how many people are actually going to all of our network of pantry partners because they're all on the same system. It's called Pantry Track. The good news about this 254,000 is that 75% of those people come 3 times or less each year. So what does that mean? That just means at the end of the month, they may have had something that they needed, a medical bill or a car broke down, something happened and that they needed just a little bit more help. So we like to say that we're offering a hand up, not a hand out. 1 in 4 people needed food assistance in Ventura County. You can keep going. Here are, to get into a little bit more about our city here in Port Hueneme, nearly 1 million pounds of food was distributed. That's about 800,000 meals, and that served 9,500 individuals. You know your population from the census, but that comes to 44% of your citizens needed food assistance last year. We work with 9 agency partners, and you can go down just a little bit, and we collect from 3 of our retail partners. If we were to go to Vaughn's and buy all the food that was distributed right here in Port Hueneme, the cost of that would be $3 million. We'll go to the next one. These are some of our partner pantries that we work with right here. Beachside Fellowship, Evangelistic Baptist Church, the Fleet Reserve at Naval Base, who gets a lot of our candy and soda as well. They have no problem taking those. And also Living Hope Church and First Church of Port Hueneme. Those are our partners. We do have a website and an app that allows people to be able to find food immediately. They find what is open within, what's open within 5 miles, 10 miles, or 15 miles right now. And so if they go on the app, they can put in by the geo locator, they can find something that is open. This is also helpful for our partners who could say, instead of just calling FoodShare, you can pull up the app and you can find somewhere where people can get food. Next slide. We'll keep going. So these are just going to be some pictures showing some of the distributions and some of those partners that we work with, our farm workers, our seniors, the drive-through distribution, our kids market. And the bad news is that the need is continuing to grow. One of the good things that we are doing, and we're excited to be able to announce, is that we're building a brand new food bank. So it's located at Woolley and Rose. It's going to be on 12 acres of land, and it's going to be 85,000 square feet, so 3 times the size of what we have today. We have turned in our permits and our drawings for the permits. We're waiting that, and we hope to be able to break ground later this year. The whole project is $50 million, and we have raised $45 million to date, so we are well on our way. 91% to goal, but if anyone is still interested in being a partner in this, we are more than willing to talk to you about it. So thank you so much. We like to be able to say that if anybody needs help, our website is the very best way to be able to guide them where they can find fresh, nutritious food. And if you would like to help by providing a food drive or a financial donation or volunteer, as part of our 4,500 volunteers on an annual basis. All of that is available on our website, and all of that is what makes the magic of feeding our hungry neighbors. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Council members, do you have any comments or any questions? We'll start with Councilmember Lopez and go down the line.
Okay. So I normally drive by Oxnard College and I see the biggest line. Is that your biggest FoodShare site?
That is. And really, we started this during COVID, and bless our hearts, we thought it would be 90 days, 60 days, 1 year, and here we are 6 years later still doing that. We have found that people appreciate the drive-through platform. That is what it is. They feel safe, and with everything that's going on, being in their cars we're going to continue to be able to provide where they feel best.
So if people wanted to volunteer, they would just go to the website, or can you do it on the
Yes.
app too?
Yes, you can do it on the app or the website. We need 70 volunteers every single week for that College Park distribution. It's about 1,000 cars come through every single week.
And lastly, Hueneme Housing Inc., nonprofit here in Port Hueneme, I'm hearing that there's a possible partnership with Food Share for Mar Vista.
Oh, okay. But possibly, with the 200 partners, our agency relations team is always looking for new ways to be able to reach our neighbors in need. So if it is something that they're working on, great. We would love that.
Thank you.
Especially right here in Port Hueneme. We're always looking for ways.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I was actually going to mention something about that. I'm with the Port Hueneme Lions Club, so we are partnering with the Salvation Army for something in the works for Mar Vista, with the Housing Inc. as well. And we've used you or your organization multiple times to do various pop-ups throughout the community. My question is the senior kit. How easy is it for a senior to sign up, and what is the process? Because we have a lot of seniors in this community.
Yes, you do. And so the senior kit distribution is actually one of our direct distributions, meaning it's Food Share staff that are going out to different locations. We have about 35 different locations throughout the county. If anyone wants to be able to get one of these boxes, which is a government program, they only need to self-certify that they're under the federal poverty level for California. They're under the age of, over the age of 60, and they live in the county of Ventura. If they self-certify, but if they do not qualify, we have other food available for them.
And that is something they can do on the website, through the app, or how?
They can just show up at a distribution and they'll get food that day. And then if they show up with someone, they can actually do a proxy as well, so someone else can come and pick it up for them in the future.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm really interested in your business model. Are you a nonprofit?
We are a 501c3, yes.
Okay, and so you go out and raise your funds year after year after year, and to the point where you have $40-some million?
So 40 million is the separate part for the capital campaign, but our annual operating budget is $10 million a year. So every July 1st, we start over from scratch.
So the 40 million is what, your capital?
Capital, right.
And
So-
is that from grants or private donors or?
Combination of federal, county, state, individuals, foundations, grants, all the above.
That's really impressive. And
It's been 4 years in the making. It's been a long time.
well, I know you've been, it's been over the last 12 years, I think the program has really taken off, at least from what I see. And I think I'm gonna have to come down there and volunteer with you at the college sometime.
We would love that.
Thank
I've
you
been
so-
there for 9 years, and it's very heartwarming to see the support of the community.
Yeah, and it's really gratifying to see a real smooth operation, and I think that's what I see at the Ventura Community College there in Oxnard. It's just smooth and it looks really, really organized.
It's very well run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Monica, thank you for being here this evening to share all the good work that Food Share is doing. I'm so excited about the new facility that is in the works. I volunteer at the First Church of Hueneme on Fridays. They let me volunteer over there, and I've met a lot of really good people, made some friends, and it is a very well-organized team of people that we have over there. When I first came to Port Hueneme, I think we had two locations that were working with Food Share. Now we have 5, and now maybe 6. So
That's wonderful.
we're growing. There's certainly, when I'm there on Fridays, I see the need, and it's such a pleasure and rewarding to be able to know that we're serving our community in a way that others cannot. So thank you again for all you do.
Well, thank you for volunteering. Showing the leadership it's paramount to our success. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for your presentation, but more specifically for the work that you do along with Food Share, and specifically today, in our case, the residents of the city of Port Hueneme. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're going to move to item C of our presentations, the Parks and Recreation Proclamation and Update. And we're going to call our Deputy Manager, City Manager, Mr. Perez, and our Recreation and Community Services Manager, Anna Henry, to the podium while someone is going to read the proclamation. Councilmember Perez.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Month, July 2026. Whereas Parks and Recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the city of Port Hueneme. And whereas Parks and Recreation promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, walking trails, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. Whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoor. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Port Hueneme does hereby proclaim that the month of July is recognized as Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Port Hueneme. Proclaimed this 20th day of July 2026.
Well, thank you. On behalf of the Recreation and Community Services Division, as well as our partners in Public Works and Facilities, all of which contribute to the beauty of our park system, thank you, Council, for recognizing, proclaiming the month of July as Recreation and Parks Month. As noted in the statement from you, Councilmember Perez, Parks and Rec Month is a nationwide celebration that highlights the essential role that parks, recreation programs, and community spaces play in promoting health, wellness, social connection, and quality of life in communities. Recreational events and programs are made possible through the dedication of our recreation staff, volunteers, and continued support of the City Council. Employees from the Public Works and the Facilities Departments provide vital support to Recreation and Community Services in the coordination and execution of many of our events and programs, and of course, the maintenance of our park system. So, throughout the month of July, the city has coordinated a variety of special events designed to engage residents of all ages. As shown on the slide, this month's events include some events we've provided in the past, along with some new and exciting items. Earlier this month, we held a senior social event at the Community Center, which was on July 6th. Of course, we had the Hueneme Beach Festival on the 11th and 12th. On July 14th, we had about 25 people on a historical walking tour of the city, led in part by our former council member, Rich Rollins. And last Saturday, we had yoga at the beach. We had about 35 participants enjoy that program. Next up is S'mores by the Shore, to be held on July 24th, followed by Kite Day and Movie at the Beach the next day on July 25th. And then to round out the month, a Kids Day, which will feature popsicles and lawn games. And it'll also allow for families to become familiar and ask questions about all of our different programming options in recreation. So with that, I'm now going to turn it over to our Recreation and Community Services Manager, Anna Hanley, to share information about our current programs and events.
Thank you, Charles. In addition to our July celebrations, we wanted to highlight the wide range of recreational opportunities that serve children, teens, adults, seniors, and families throughout our community. I'm going to go ahead and load a bunch of our program flyers here for everyone to see. Currently, we're offering many different programs, and the summer season is certainly our busiest, I must say. We are completely running a vibrant community center at this time, along with a beach operation. So, and soon to be the Hueneme High School Learn to Swim program offering as well. So we have quite a bit going on. The STEM camp has taken over Classroom C at the community center, and it will have a 7-week run. This is the first year of the Summer Princess Camp, which was an absolute delight. We also have a summer sports camp, and the junior lifeguard program, as I mentioned, was serving 235 kids alone this season. Learn to Swim is set to advertise tomorrow with classes beginning on August 1st. And our year-round mainstays include ballet class, gymnastics, taekwondo, line dancing, and senior exercise. We also offer the senior nutrition program year-round for those that are homebound due to injury or illness, and our historical museum is open every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 p.m. Be sure not to miss the Sunday Fun Day craft afternoons or the bi-monthly speaker series engagements. We wanted to encourage everyone to take advantage of these program opportunities and contact us with any program-related questions or ideas. We'd love to hear your feedback, and we're constantly encouraging that communication. In addition to our array of programs, we have a number of events coming up in the next few months, and I also wanted to take this opportunity to highlight those as well. Our next 2 Movie in the Park events, one will be held on August 15th. That's at Volker Park, and will be Zootopia 2. On September 12th, we'll have the Movie at the Beach, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's fitting. I'm thrilled to report we've actually seen a huge increase in attendance at the beach movies. And so as that demand continues, we're going to focus on that particular location for the time being and continue to host movies at the beach. On October 10th, we'll have our 5th annual Touch a Truck event. That is a standout and an absolute crowd favorite, so I'm looking forward to that in October as well. In October, we'll also be partnering with the Police Explorers at a car show that will feature a trunk or treat. Earlier this year, the council approved an SUP for 2 car shows to be hosted by the Police Explorers, and adding the trunk or treat feature is new and something that the City Council specifically asked staff to look into and incorporate into city programming. We're currently targeting October 24th or 25th for this event and expect it will take place on a similar event footprint as previous car shows, so including food vendors, arts and crafts, the need for sponsorships, standard award categories, along with awards geared towards trunk or treat themes. All of those are being discussed. We'd love to see a high level of community participation, and there will be a daily drivers category to encourage everyone to start planning now for those themes and those trunk decorations that you can have underway. So registration information will likely be advertised at the end of August. Please keep an eye out for that, and all of the registration information will be forthcoming as we work with the Police Explorers to develop those details. And finally, as we close out the fall season, we'll have our annual Veterans Day event on November 11th. This is an important event in any community to honor the men and women that have served our country, but perhaps especially so in the city of Port Hueneme, as we have a partnership with the base that calls Port Hueneme home. Whether it's attending a community event, enrolling in a class, volunteering, or simply enjoying one of our parks, there's truly something for everyone here. So please, we encourage you to connect with us, and we'll help you find it. We can answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Great. Council, do you have any questions? Councilmember Lopez, we'll start with you again.
Okay, I really don't have questions other than comments. Anna, your team, one of the reoccurring things that I always hear talking to our residents is that our Parks and Rec do awesome jobs for our community, our youth, and we're proactive. And some of those movies at the beach, and I went to the partnership with the Hueneme Little League, they were well attended. And it was a good time. Everybody was watching it. Kids were running around, but the movie was good. And it's always fun. So I love the way that you guys are doing this for the community, and we appreciate you guys. So thank you. Can you please pass it to staff?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
I will also like to thank the Parks and Recreation Department under both of your leadership. You guys are doing such a great job. Everyone that I hear from out of our city says the amazing things that's happening in Hueneme, and they can't believe that such a small staff is able to create so much for the community. I remember when I started council, our big theme was we pushed like something for children and families, and that was the main theme that we pushed. And you guys listened to that, and you hit the ground running, and you've just, the things that you come up with, it's just amazing. So thank you for what you do for our community.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment when we get to that part.
I have a comment. I just want to say thank you for all you do. You work really hard, and the quality of life here in Port Hueneme is incredible because of the parks that we have now and the programs that you lead for our city. So thank you so much. Please extend our gratitude also to staff, because I know they work very hard as well. On Saturday, I did the yoga class, which I was surprised there were 35 people there. I later went to the Hueneme Museum for the speaker series. Great turnout, real strong sense of community among the attendees there. And I think that's what you create with your events. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gama?
Yeah, I just wanted to go down memory lane, going back almost 8 years, COVID. I mean, talk about a buzzkill for the parks. And then here we are today, and city manager and I the other day were walking through Miranda Park, and I know that we had a grand opening for the new play equipment, and people were like, "Look how many people came." And I was like, "No, it's like this every night. Every night, the park is full. Tennis courts are being used. Pickleball is a great addition for our parks as well. And so it really is it's just so different than it was 8 years ago. And I couldn't thank you enough, and really proud of this council, this Public Works Department, city manager, your department, everybody involved. But you know, the events we're having at the beach, that's a park. The events that we're having at Miranda Park, at Bubbling Spring Parks, Little League, everything is firing. And living next to Miranda Park, I find extreme joy in all the recreational noises that are coming from the park, and it's really nice. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say our staff is incredibly dedicated, and we feel it's a gift to do this work. And so they're driven to provide exactly what you're seeing, and it keeps us motivated every day to continue to do exactly what we're doing. So thank you very much for recognizing us.
And thank you so much. There's nothing else for me to add except thank you. So we're going to take a picture today.
They passed on the picture.
No?
I thought they might.
Yeah, I think they're passing. No? Okay.
We'll get them the proclamation.
Great. With that, we're going to go ahead and recess from the city council meeting and call to order the Port Hueneme Housing Successor Agency special meeting. The time is now 7:21. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Member Gama,
Present.
Member Lopez,
Here.
Member Perez,
Here.
Vice Chair Hernandez,
Here.
and Chair McLean-LeJean.
Here. So we're going to move on to the acquisition of real property located at 237 East Hueneme Road. We're going to have the staff present the report. I think that might be you, City Manager.
Yeah, and I've asked our housing director, Gabby Basua, to just give us a quick overview of this particular parcel and the recommendation to move forward with purchasing the parcel. So with that, I will hand it off to Gabby Basua.
Thank you. Good evening, Housing Successor Agency Board. The item before you today is a recommendation to authorize the acquisition of real property located at 237 East Hueneme Road, which is up on your screen here with my pointer. Authorize the appropriation of $600,000 and authorize the Housing and Facility Maintenance Director to execute all documents necessary to complete the acquisition. The property is located on Hueneme Road, and it's located on the second on the picture below the property. You will see a box, and in those boxes, you will see right above it 3 arrows. When I say we, I mean the Housing Successor Agency owns both of these parcels that my pointer is pointing to. Staff recommendation is that you authorize the purchase of the property adjacent to it for $600,000 for the purpose of bringing much needed low-income housing to the city of Port Hueneme. And that concludes the presentation. I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Can I just note,
Council?
Mayor, I'll just note two other points real quick. One is that the other parcel that we own directly to the left is the museum, just to help give that point of reference. So we actually own 3 of 4 parcels currently, and so this is for that 4th amongst the 3 that we already own. And then I also just want to note right now. Common theme as we talk about the budget, we talk about our limited general fund dollars and prioritizing the use of those dollars. So I just wanted to note for the council and for the public that this is not a general fund purchase that the city would be purchasing. This is actually, the recommendation would be that this is a Housing Successor Agency purchase using specific Housing Successor Agency fund dollars that can only be used for housing purposes. So I just want to make sure that that's clear, mostly for the public as well, who we talk about the budget a lot. So, and that's all I have.
Great, thanks, City Manager. We'll go to questions. Let's just take questions at this time. We'll come back around for comments. Councilmember Lopez, you have any questions?
Yes. So, for RENA numbers, I know like we haven't talked about development or anything like that yet, but just out of curiosity, what do you think you could squeeze out of that area as far as numbers for low-income housing?
Well, if we were successful and acquire the property, it'll give us a little bit more than half an acre, about 0.68, because it will be, the hope to put sub-low-income housing. We have density bonuses that we will go after. I'm hoping 15 to 20 units.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Perez, any questions?
Nothing from me, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Gama.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro?
yeah, I have a question. So thank you, Ms. Basua, for the presentation, and this is an exciting purchase. I'm really looking forward to what you end up doing with this property, and I'm glad it's helping us achieve our RENA numbers. It looks like the parcel to the far left on the screen abuts the museum. How much space is there going to be between the housing and the museum itself? And will there be any interference with the museum?
So right now, this is just all conceptual. We will have to really work with the city team to determine exactly what we will be building, and that will be coming back to you at some point with the city council hat on.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's all I had.
Great, thank you. Do we have any public comments, City Clerk?
No public comments for this item.
Okay, great. So if there are no other questions, we have before us the recommendation to adopt a resolution approving acquisition for real property located at 237 East Wynebe Road and authorizing an appropriation in the amount of $600,000 and authorizing the Housing and Facilities Maintenance Director to execute all documents necessary to complete the acquisition. Is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
Second.
Great. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Knowing that, that this is not a general fund expenditure and this is a housing successor budgeted item, not our money, I'm gonna vote yes, and I'm looking forward to this. Thank you.
If there are no other comments, Madam Clerk, please take roll or vote.
Member Lopez,
Yes.
Member Gama,
Yes.
Member Perez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hernandez.
Yes.
And Chair McQueen-Lejeune.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
great. And thank you, Ms. Basula, for your report. Okay, we'll now adjourn the Port Hueneme Housing Successor Agency special meeting and convene the City Council regular meeting. We will take up now the consent calendar. Madam Clerk, before we get started, are there any public comments for the consent calendar?
Yes, we have one public comment for the consent calendar, and that is for consent calendar item number 12. Adam Vega.
Good afternoon, Mayor McQueen-Lejeune, Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez, members of the council, City Manager Vega. Just wanted to give you a brief update regarding the Opportunity Zone 2.0 application. The port successfully submitted their application earlier today with a resolution that was passed at our board meeting. We also were working in conjunction with the County of Ventura Economic Vitality Manager to ensure that the census tract down Hueneme Road also received consideration from the Governor's Office of Business and Investment. And for your consideration tonight, just a big support and help to ensuring that these applications are looked at in high value to the folks up at the state as they pass their final decision off to the U.S. Treasury Department. And with that, there are many benefits that will come from that for these two census tracts, the one encompassing the port, as well as Naval Base Ventura County, ending in 4305, and 4715 for the Hueneme Road corridor. And as you can see in the letter, it speaks about some of those opportunities. And again, just on behalf of the port, our deepest gratitude goes out to you all for your consideration and the team here for making such a quick turnaround in an application whose deadline was cut by 5 days. We had until the 25th, and that date was moved to the 20th. And I want to let you know that Senate Pro Tem Monique Limon, as well as the Office of Assemblymember Steve Bennett, the Ventura County Transportation Commission, the West Ventura County Business Alliance, as well as several other partners have supported these two applications. There are about 3,000 possible census tracts available in the state of California, of which only 618, I believe, will be selected for final nomination. So as the process continues to go on, I'll be sure to keep the council abreast of any correspondence that we hear back from the state, or if certain follow-up is needed. So thank you again.
Mayor, you're on mute, but there are no further comments for consent calendar.
Great, thank you. We're going to go ahead and take the consent calendar. These items will be enacted in one motion unless a council member has a request to pull an item. Would any council members or Mayor Pro Tem like to pull an item?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilmember Lopez.
I want to pull item 4, 5, 6, and 7.
4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, anyone else?
I have a question on the census tract, and so should we just wait? Okay, we'll pull it and have a
Yes,
question.
let's pull it.
You
Uh-huh.
should pull the item if so.
Pull it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else?
Yes, there's
If
one.
not, let's go.
There's one more.
Go ahead.
Yes, so
Go ahead.
I am going to refrain from voting on item number, where did it go? Let's see. There it is. The resurfacing on Patterson Road, because it falls within my radius. I live within that area, so I will be recusing myself from that vote.
Which is item.
Okay, got it, number 5.
Item
Yeah.
number 5, thank you.
Yeah, okay, great. So with that, we have items 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is there a motion and a second to approve those items?
So moved.
Sorry.
I think I heard a second. If
Sorry,
so,
my
Madam
mic
Clerk.
wasn't on. Yes, second.
That's okay, Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Yes.
Councilmember Perez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Yes.
And Mayor McQueen LeJean.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, let's take up item number 4. Let's see, Councilmember Lopez, that was your item, award the contract to Pavement Coating Company for Port Hueneme, Pleasant Valley Road and Beach parking.
Yeah, so there was just, there was like a pricing anomaly, so I was trying to figure out who was the actual low bidder, because on the staff attachment A records a Union Pavement bid at $229,293, while attachment B records it at $229,793. So who was the true low bidder?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and the general public. My name is Charles Cable. I'm here representing Public Works for Fred Camarillo. And the true low bidder actually is Pavement Coatings. The reason for the discrepancy was they miscalculated
Square footage.
their bids, the bid. That was Union Pavement. They miscalculated. When the city clerk takes the bids on the day of, she just takes the number down, and it's the responsibility of the engineer to actually calculate to make sure everything's correct. But besides that, Union Pavement, or Union Coatings did not, was not the responsive bidder because they didn't meet the 5% mobilization, so they were eliminated
Okay.
based on that fact.
Got it. Yeah, I was curious because I was looking at the numbers. I'm like, it doesn't add up, and wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought I read the 5% threshold that they didn't meet, so that was the immediate disqualifier.
Right, that was it. And I do the spreadsheet and I calculate everything just to make sure that the numbers match up. And in the event that there is a discrepancy, the unit pricing is what's going to govern. So they still wouldn't have.
Got it. Thank you.
Qualified.
Can we go to consent item 5?
No, let's go ahead and take a vote on number 4. Is there a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
Great. Are there any discussion at all?
No.
If not, let's go ahead and take a vote. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Yes.
Councilmember Perez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Yes.
And Mayor McQueen LeJean.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. Let's go to number 5. Councilmember Lopez.
Yeah, this one was a little different. The award contract to J&H Engineering General Contracts, the recommendation section 1, or page 1, requesting an appropriation of $380,898 to account number 204-551-5700. The fiscal impact section, page 2, states the approval requires an additional appropriation of $468,372 to the exact same account. Can we clarify the correct appropriation amount before the council vote? Because there's like an $87,000 discrepancy between the two figures.
You're 100% correct. That was my error. The appropriation that we're looking for is 468,372. So the fiscal impact section is the right number.
It's the right number?
Yes.
Okay, so, got it. And then in the staff report, page 2, the detailed scope of work, page 6, states that they're gonna be grinding 2 inches to existing asphalt and then add the 2-inch overlay. But in the proposal detail in page 10, it describes a 4-inch hot mix overlay. And so I was looking at that figure and I was like, are we being priced for 4-inch or are we being priced for 2-inch?
We're being priced for 2-inch, and I reached out to Gordian to correct that mistake. It's 2 inches, and I verified the unit price with our recent Ukiah paving project. So that's the unit price for 2 inches.
Okay.
So that was an error
So
on
that
our
was just
part.
an error. Got it. And that's it. That's all I have.
Great. Are there any other questions for that item, number 5? If not, Madam Clerk, please take roll, and I think Mayor Pro Tem is going to abstain from this.
Correct. Move to approve item 5.
I think there would have to be a move to approve with the new appropriation amount of 460, or the corrected appropriation amount of 468,372.
I'll amend my motion. Move to approve item 5 with the correct appropriation as stated.
Thanks.
Second.
Great. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
and Mayor McQueen Lejeune.
Yes.
And let the record reflect that Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez is abstaining. Motion passes.
Great. Let's go to item number 6, authorize sole source purchase of anti-salient for use in PHWA water treatment. Councilmember Lopez, back over.
Yeah, I had 2 things on here. The future, we're on option 4 of 4 of the final extension. And looking at our future fiscal budget, are we going to, are we going to go to the same vendor on this?
Yeah, so good evening, Mayor, City Council. So for this specific chemical, when the treatment plant was first went online, they did a pilot. So based on the membranes that are used at our facility and based on the water quality that comes into our plant, this is a specified chemical that works best on our membranes. So to my knowledge, they're the only company that will produce this actual mix for this chemical. It's an acid. So we will look into it if there's anyone new, but to my knowledge, they're the only company that produces this exact chemical.
Okay, so I guess there's like a legal disclaimer in section 24 to set legal venue. It talks to San Diego County, and I don't know if that's a typo or if that's because I know the vendors in San Diego.
Correct.
But since we're the user of this chemical, shouldn't it say Ventura County? Out of curiosity, I'm just looking at the note 24.
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to it, and if the city attorney wants to add. But so typically, especially if we're working with a vendor and they provide the agreement, they will try to set the venue in their county for their ease. I think to your point, should we try to negotiate that in the future so that if there is something that goes wrong, we'd end up being able to challenge it here without having to send everybody to San Diego, and that is something we can do. I think for us, and I'll ask Dennis to correct me if I'm misstating, but I think in this case, since it's a purchase of this product that we've used in the past from them, and we don't anticipate having litigation, which doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's just fairly low risk in this that we didn't put the effort to try to negotiate like some of those terms that we don't anticipate being an issue, but it's something that we can keep in mind, and some of the things that are more challenging, it would be probably good practice, unless the city attorney disagrees, to sort of try to set venue where we can. So
the reason why I'm mentioning it is because Ventura County has some of the strictest hazardous material program in California. And we always run into problems with hazmat, specifically at Naval Base Ventura County. Yeah. So I was looking at this through that lens to see if, you know, if San Diego's a little more restrictive than Ventura County, I really don't think so. So that was my concern.
Yeah, I think in this case, the legal venue speaks to if we were to sue, which court would hear it, right? And so, city attorney, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd anticipate. Well, actually, I'll let the city attorney answer.
Yeah. So yeah, everything that was said is correct. I agree with all of that. Typically, if I'm reviewing a contract and I see a venue outside of the county, it is concerning to me if it's a service-oriented contract or construction contract where work is actually being performed in here. It makes a little bit of a difference. In the case of IT contracts or commodities purchases contracts, I usually don't have a legal concern with that. So in a case like this, it's not something that I would normally flag for this type of agreement. The laws are still, the laws section, the choice of law is important. In this case, it's California, so it doesn't matter whether it's heard in Riverside, San Francisco, or LA counties. The laws are all going to be applied the same. It's just where's the courtroom at, which can make a difference for appearances, experts, staff, all of that kind of thing. So it's a matter of more of convenience. Your law firm happens to be statewide, so in that sense, it's not an issue for us either. But it's not something that I would normally flag on a commodities purchase like this.
Got it. Thank you.
And we certainly have the right to challenge venue. I mean, most cases.
You can always ask for it to be changed if there's a reason for it, right? And that's usually because the work was done in a particular area and that kind of thing. I don't think you'd be able to challenge the venue in a commodities purchase in court very easily. Again, it's something you would negotiate with the vendor if it's something that was important to you. In a contract like this, I don't see a lot of risk.
So let's say they ship us the wrong chemical and it causes harm to our residents. Is that a reason to keep the venue or challenge the venue of San Diego? I mean, it's a hypothetical.
You'd have to show that, yeah, the witnesses are all in Ventura County,
Right.
that kind of thing, exactly.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, great. If there's no other questions, can I get a motion and a second for item number 6?
So move.
Second.
Great. Madam Clerk, please take a vote.
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Yes.
Mayor McQueen-Lejeune.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. Let's move to item number 7, award of a 3-year contract to Motive Energy for the cleaning, monitoring, preventative maintenance of the city-owned solar panels. Can we get the report? I think it's, I'll turn it over to you, City Manager.
I think it was
I'm
just
sorry.
whoever's question.
Councilmember Lopez, what's your question?
Yeah, this question was fairly long, but I sent it to the city, and I've been in meeting pretty much all evening, so I don't know if you wrote me back, but I will just ask the question. The 3-year contract to Motive Energy, the fee structure, it has a quote summary, an attachment E, panel cleaning, preventative maintenance, monitoring, year 1 base. So the year 1 base is $7,080. Attachment G, draft exhibit B, page 46 states the pricing at $9,480 annually with the 5% increase thereafter. So year 1, which totals year 1, 2, and 3 to $29,885, which is right on the staff report. The question for staff is the total of the individual lines in exhibit B is calculated at $7,080, not $9,480. So I just want, if you can just explain the $2,400 discrepancy, like, because it doesn't add up. Like, am I missing something?
Absolutely. So the staff report as written is correct. So if you look at Exhibit B, the $2,400 discrepancy is the panel cleaning. If you look at the chart within that exhibit, you will find on there that it says 2,400 times 2.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I was trying to make sense of this, and it kept flagging, so that makes sense. Because I was thinking there's future electrician cost, and then if we have to rent a scissor lift, I was like, did they factor that in already, or?
So none of that is factored in. So with this contract in specifically, should the solar panels require maintenance that is not just normal preventative, that will be an additional cost to the contract. And at that point, we would be coming back for additional appropriations.
And this, this contract, they have the people to be able to repair?
Absolutely.
So do we have a warranty on any of this, like the inverters and the solar panels right now?
No, so the warranty has expired. So the original contract expired, I believe, in April. So currently, we do not have a preventative maintenance contract. This will be a 3-year contract, and it will be for the preventative maintenance and for the monitoring of the solar panels.
Got it. Thank you. That's all I have.
We lost her.
Mayor, you're muted.
If there's no other questions, is there a motion in a second?
So move.
Second?
Madam Clerk, please take a vote.
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Yes.
Mayor McQueen Lejeune.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. Let's move to item number 12. Approval letters, letter of support for the Port Hueneme application to designate census tracts for Opportunity Zone 2.0 designation. I think Councilmember Gama, you had a question.
Yes, I'm wondering what exactly does this mean? And as I read through it, I see words like increasing demand for infrastructure improvement, enhanced transportation. So what does this opportunity zone mean for the city of Port Hueneme? Does it mean we get more assistance for port truck traffic wear and tear? Or I just don't understand it. Is it just a designation, or does it come with real benefits for the city and the port?
I would suggest that we invite Mr. Adam Vega from the port to explain that a little bit more clearly.
Thank you, and happy to do so. Councilmember Gama, to answer your question and give a little context, the Opportunity Zone designation, it was established under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. So every 10 years when the census is done, these designations come up for review, and this is the 2.0. What had happened was, I believe the first time around, the program was oversubscribed. Lots of folks put in to receive zoning designation on the first round, and the state tightened it up a little bit this round. The port was previously designated under Opportunity Zone 1.0 designation, but in terms of some of the benefits, essentially in a nutshell, the program offers preferential federal tax treatment for capital gains invested in qualified projects located within designated low-income census tracts. The Opportunity Zone incentive is designed to reward long-term patient capital that generates sustained economic growth, job creation, and community revitalization in historically underserved areas. So I guess the best type of example would be kind of like Title I designations for schools.
Does it exclude the city of Port Hueneme?
It doesn't exclude the city of Port Hueneme specifically. What it is that the Office of Business and Economic Development, they partnered with a company called Novograd, and dependent on the census tract information, they have potentially designated sites. I can send a link and you can check it out. The reason that these two tracts were selected is because there are portions within the city of Oxnard, city of Hueneme, and the greater county as a whole that didn't receive potential designation opportunities. So for that reason, we picked those two because they essentially kind of flank both sides of the city of Hueneme.
So then who's track number one?
That would be ourselves as well as Naval Base Ventura County, 4305.
Right. So it does, like I said, as I read through this, it doesn't specifically mention the city of Port Hueneme. It mentions Hueneme Road in Oxnard. So I just find that kind of odd. Maybe, I mean, everything passes through the city of Port Hueneme. So does that mean it's already an opportunity zone where the city of Hueneme lies?
I think we might be getting caught up on the specifics of the zones. This initiative is to align with the governor's Jobs First initiative, and in that he has 12 distinct tracks in which he'd like to see the state either strengthen or grow. So when I submitted our application, of course, defense, aerospace, manufacturing, things like that. Logistics was one of them. I also selected the tourism because of the friendly city by the sea. So the hope is that, these investments, these two tracks will attract private investment and thus incorporate either the surrounding cities of Oxnard, Hueneme, etc. There is no contiguous census tract that covers both sides, and for that reason, we worked with our partners at the county to be the lead agency on the census tract 4715.
Okay. I think there's a lot to think about here. Complicated.
Are there any other questions? If there are no other questions, Councilmember Gama, do you have a motion? Or is there a motion for a motion in a second?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Great, thank you. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Gama,
Here.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Yes or no?
Councilmember Gama, can you clarify if that's a yes or a no?
You said
You
no,
said
you said
here.
Yeah. It's been a long day. I flew in from Oklahoma and my arms are tired. It was a yes.
Councilmember Gama, yes. Councilmember Lopez, yes. Councilmember Perez,
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Yes.
and Mayor McQueen-Lejeune.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great, we're going to move to item number 13, the Cannabis Development Agreement Compliance Review for Blue Diamond LLC and finding of exemption from CEQA. Madam Clerk, do you have proof of publication as required by law and a complete file of reports and exhibits?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Great, will staff please present the report?
Yes, and our Deputy City Manager, Charles Peretz, will be presenting this. He's been working on getting all the cannabis businesses into compliance over the last year or so, and so he'll be providing us the background on this review.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, members of the public, and city staff. As stated, the purpose of agenda item number 13 is to conduct a public hearing to review the performance of Blue Diamond, a cannabis delivery business, as it relates to that business's performance under their development agreement with the city. So, as the council will recall, the city requires periodic review of development agreements with cannabis businesses to determine whether businesses are in compliance with the terms of such agreements. Key terms and associated benefits include payment of contractual fees and sales taxes, which benefit the city's general fund, providing employment opportunities through business operations, delivering required community benefits, and complying with things like the conditional use permit, applicable city ordinances, and other obligations under the development agreement, including the financial audit. Last year, the city communicated with Blue Diamond for several months regarding a few different areas of concern, including monies owed to the city, failure to cooperate with the financial audit, failure to satisfy the community benefit fund requirement, lack of response to multiple city communications, and an extended period of time when the business was not operating. During that time, the city received verbal and written communication which indicated that the business intended to bring on some new owners. Staff provided instruction regarding the city's review process on multiple occasions. However, no follow-up in that regard was received. On November 17th, 2025, the council reviewed Blue Diamond's development agreement. Through that hearing, council determined that the business was only in partial compliance with the development agreement. Council adopted a resolution that required the business to do three things: comply with the terms of the payment plan executed in October 2025, cooperate with the city's financial audit, and comply with the community benefit requirements. As part of that action, council directed staff to return with another compliance review if the business failed to achieve those directives. The day after council's action, staff contacted Blue Diamond to communicate council's findings and the actions that are required to achieve compliance. The business asserted that it was entitled to a refund for prior overpayments to the city. Staff encouraged the business to complete the audit process, about which it had initially been contacted in February of 2025, so that any questions about outstanding refunds could be resolved as quickly as possible. At the same time, communications from the business became a bit contentious. The individual designated by the owner to communicate with the city noted his objection to key terms in the agreement and suggested that the city might be extorting cannabis businesses. Of additional note, the November and December payments due under the payment plan were received late. Communication with the business effectively ceased at the beginning of 2026. Payments required under the payment plan for January, February, and March were not received by the city, and emails and phone calls regarding various compliance concerns were unanswered. Based on the lack of communication and because the business had not complied with council's November 2025 directives, staff sent a non-compliance letter via certified mail on April 15th. That letter outlined the outstanding deficiencies and identified that a public hearing to review the development agreement would be scheduled if such issues were not addressed. The city received no response to that letter. Subsequently, the business failed to make its monthly contractual payments for April and May. This hearing was scheduled and notice thereof was provided to the business on on July 6th. Shortly after sending the notice of the hearing, communication from Blue Diamond resumed. Business representatives contacted the city's auditors to restart communications, advised the city that they believed all audit information had already been provided to the auditor, paid the past due amounts for April and May, and paid for June, and made a payment of $1,680 towards the outstanding balance remaining under the expired payment plan. This slide summarizes the outstanding compliance issues and their current status. First, the payment plan that expired in March remains unfulfilled. Of the 6 payments that were required, 2 were received late and 3 were never received. Of note, the executed plan expressly stated that no additional payment plans would be offered. As of today, there is an outstanding balance of $5,368.79. Secondly, the business has now indicated that they believe the auditor had confirmed that the business had provided all required documents for the financial audit. However, throughout 2026, Blue Diamond failed to respond to multiple emails and verbal communications from both the city and the auditor requesting follow-up information on the financial audit. Further, the auditor has now confirmed that multiple documents required to complete the audit process are still missing. Third, as noted, the missing payments for April and May have been made. Unfortunately, this was only done after the notice of this public hearing was issued. Lastly, in 2025, Blue Diamond contacted the city in an effort to schedule live scan appointment for a new proposed owner, and submitted written communications describing a new ownership structure. After 6 months of not responding to questions about the process to vet new owners, the business has now advised that prior communications were inquiries only and that no ownership changes have been made. In summary, since the council's review in 2025, Blue Diamond has not complied with the directives issued by the City Council. While there has been recent progress, such actions occurred only after notice of this hearing and followed many months where there was no communication from the business. Accordingly, the proposed action seeks to find the developer in default of the development agreement and provide an additional 30-day period to cure all items of default. The last slide states the recommendation. I'll read it. Open the public hearing to take testimonial and documentary evidence, to close the public hearing, consider the evidence, and adopt a resolution determining that Blue Diamond LLC is out of compliance and in default of its development agreement, and direct staff to provide written notice of the city's intent to revoke the agreement if default is not cured within 30 days, and to take such additional action, such additional related action that may be desirable. That concludes the staff presentation. I'm available for questions, and I believe that the developer is here and ready to speak as well.
Okay, do we have any questions for the Deputy City Manager?
Yes.
Any questions at all? Comments will be taken later.
I have questions. Okay, so first question, has Blue Diamond submitted any documentary evidence prior to this hearing why the $5,368 balance remains unpaid, or why financial records were withheld from the auditor?
The verbal conversation I had with business representatives recently indicated that they believed that the documents that were required by the auditor had been provided, and they believed that the auditor had advised them of such. The lack of completion of the payment plan, no, there has not been any written documentation explaining that, no.
So their assertion that they were entitled to a prior year tax refund, is there any truth to that?
There may be. The city in its history had some calculation issues with excise taxes, and some businesses were entitled to refund. So that may be accurate. Okay. But again, the information from the city was the best way to resolve that issue and determine the actual amount is through the audit process. Because often there are, we may find that there was a refund due to that one issue, but in many cases we also find that businesses owe the city money for underreporting. So we want to look at both of those things at the same time.
So 1% of their tax goes to like a community fund, or
1% of gross revenues are required by the development agreement to be provided to an organization that constitutes a community benefit fund by the language of the agreement.
And so how do they cure that? Like how do they report that out?
Businesses will provide us with a copy of a check and information about the organization to which the donation was made.
And that has never been done?
That has not been done for the year 2025. Blue Diamond has, in its history with the city, contributed to, they have made community benefit payments. They did not do so in 2025.
Got it. Thank you. That's all I got. Thank you for the.
Great. Councilmember Perez?
Yes, I just wanted to know, are we able to hear from the developer? Yes. So is the developer here and have?
Yeah, after your questions of staff, the developer will have an opportunity to present its.
Great, thank you. So my question is, it seems like there's a long history of back and forth, and a question to the developer is, what has been the issue up to this date? Why hasn't there been an actual effort made to fix the issue, or at least communicate with the city that there may be a problem, try to work out some type of deal, which we've always tried to help businesses, and the last thing we want to do is see a business fail. But to me, it seems like there's been no definitive agreement with the developer to try to cure these issues. And I just wanted to know what has been the problem, what's the issue now, and what's going to happen from now on.
So this time it's just questions for staff. After that's completed, the developer will come up and make their presentation or whatever, the public hearing will be opened, and you can, and they can address that at that point, or the council will have opportunities to ask the developer direct questions as well if they want.
Got it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anything else, Councilmember Perez? Okay, Councilmember Gama, any questions? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem?
No.
Great, thank you. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we will open the public hearing and take public comments. The public hearing is now open. The time is now 8:07. Are there any public comments regarding this item?
Yes, we have one from Daniel Vasquez.
Hello. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Daniel Vasquez, and I'm here on behalf of Blue Diamond LLC. First, I want to thank the council and the city staff for the opportunity to speak. And we understand the importance of complying with the development agreement, and we take the obligations to the city seriously. I would like to address one point in particular. The staff concludes that the staff report concludes that Blue Diamond has not acted in good faith. Respectfully, we disagree with that conclusion. At no point has Blue Diamond attempted to avoid its responsibilities or intentionally disregard the requirements of the development agreement. Throughout this process, we have continued communicating with the city, responding to requests, providing documentation, and working to resolve outstanding issues. While there certainly have been delays and areas where we could have done better, those delays should not be mistaken for bad faith. Regarding the audit, I would like to make 3 brief points. We have maintained records of communication dating back to October of 2025, which show that we submitted the request and audit documentation to Booth Management Consulting representative at the time, who then confirmed with us we have submitted documentation. Fast forward several months later to February of 2026, we received email communication from a different representative from Booth Management Consulting, who is a new person who had taken over our case. So it's under our impression that the previous representative is no longer with the company and the file was handed over. During that change of personnel could have created uncertainty as whether all previous submitted materials have remained with the file. Second, the cannabis state laws changed significantly during the audit period with the passage of Assembly Bill 195. Email communications with BMC representative suggest that our point of sale system was not configured correctly because it did not include cannabis excise tax during 2022. However, the cannabis law at the time, retailers were not responsible for the excise tax that was collected and remitted by the distribution or the distributors. So, and then also my third point would be additional information resulted from misunderstandings of the CDTFA reports. We were asked to provide quarterly sales and use tax returns for our business during the audit period. With the CDTFA, we were required to report annually, which we were sent over to BMC covering all periods of the audit, but they were requesting in a different format, which was not available. Since this was not a failure to provide records, but rather a difference between records requested and reporting requirements that applied to the business at the time. Since beginning communication with our new Booth Management Consulting representative on July 9th, we have remained actively engaged throughout the audit process. We have documented email correspondence on July 10th, July 13th, July 16th, and today, July 20th, providing updates, answering questions, clarifying issues, and submitting the information requested to complete the audit. This ongoing communication demonstrates our commitment to working cooperatively and in good faith to bring the audit to completion. The report also references concerns regarding ownership change. We want to make it clear that no ownership change has occurred. Our previous communications with city staff were inquiries to better understand the process should ownership change ever be pursued. Those inquiries reflected an effort to understand and follow the city's procedures, not avoid them. With respect to the payment obligations and community benefits requirements, we recognize there are outstanding obligations at this time that remain. We have been, as Charles mentioned, that previously we made the 1% donations to somewhere local, but they didn't qualify. We had learned that they weren't a qualifying business, so that's why there were no contributions made for a time. We had to find someone that fit in the city of Port Hueneme limits. We have found one, the Boys and Girls Club of Port Hueneme and Oxnard, so we've been in contact. I have a memorandum of understanding with them. They've sent to me, I'd filled out and signed, sending back. And then once that's submitted, we can put our donation and then incur all the 1% from 2025 and 26. We understand that compliance is an ongoing responsibility, and we are committed to completing every remaining requirement. Thank you for your time and consideration.
May I?
Great, thank you. We're gonna take some time to ask some questions, if we can do that right now, City Attorney. I do have a couple of questions, so if I can take the time first to do that, I will.
This would be appropriate time, yes.
Okay, great. So thanks for your information, Mr. Vasquez. A couple of questions for you. Are you the developer?
No, I'm not. Christina Valdez would be the.
Mayor, would you mind muting between your questions?
I will.
Thank you.
I will. Thank you. What is your role?
The main owner, Christina Valdez, is my mother. I've just stepped in to help her with the business. It's been hard on her and just everything, so I've stepped up to help her. She has authorized me to speak on behalf of the business. As here as well with me is the other owner, Fabian Gonzalez.
Thank you. Thank you. And the last question is, are you, do you have the authority for decision making?
No, I would have to take that back and you to get authority from Christina Valdez.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions from the council?
Would you be able to get in compliance in 30 days?
Yes, we have, we feel taking every step to get there. We've done our part with the finding the 1% donation to do that. We've gotten in contact with the audit to clear up everything there. We've went on our behalf to find these issues or where misunderstandings are to then tell BMC these are why we're stuck here. It's not that we're not sending files, it's that things don't exist or they're being asked wrong. So we've done that, and then as well with the outstanding, that's just money that's owed, which is due to financial hardship. We're doing everything we can to get that cleared up within the 30 days.
To staff, is it reasonable to expect them to be able to comply within 30 days?
I couldn't hear the question. Can you repeat?
Is it reasonable to expect compliance within 30 days?
Yes, and I, just to back up a little bit, as a reminder, we had an initial hearing back in November of 2025 where the city council did give a chance to get into compliance. So the city council was very reasonable. There were a couple other businesses that we also had that conversation about. And so we have worked to get all those other businesses into compliance. So I think it's one of the reasons why we made the recommendation we made, which is to adopt the resolution now. If they get into compliance in the next 30 days, great. We've given them now 7 or actually that'd be about 8 months by that point to get into compliance from that prior discussion, which I think is a reasonable approach. And just as one more point was, if everybody recalls at that time, we had been hearing from other businesses who were in compliance, who were talking about the fairness of making them follow all the rules, but not making everybody else follow those rules. So this is all part of that effort to really make sure that it's fair to everybody and that we're not treating businesses differently as part of that process. So that's ultimately why our recommendation is to move forward with the resolution, which then would give those 30 days to get into compliance. If they get into compliance and stay in compliance from that point, great. And if not, then we have given quite a long period to get into compliance. So.
Are there any other questions?
I have some questions.
Okay, go right ahead.
Mr. Vasquez, thank you for speaking to the council. A couple questions. Are you guys in the green? Are you guys profiting?
At the moment, we are, no. We have been in a tough spot for 2026 so far. We're having to work ourselves to do the job and stay open, which means we can't provide employment at this time, right? So we're working our way to get there, but having all these issues take from my time to then go and work the day-to-day operation. So
Yeah, because I'm concerned. Like, I'm concerned that you guys are putting yourself out there and committing to a timeline that you guys may not get to, right? And so you guys, there's still some back payments you guys owe.
definitely, yeah.
So,
For us, it seems like we would have to find those financials elsewhere, which is the financial hardship for us. They're not going to come from sales revenue. They're going to come from other places out of pocket for us.
So, are you thinking that you guys are going to survive this little bump in the road? I wouldn't say bump, but it's a big speed bump.
Yes, we have intentions to survive and see it through, yes.
Okay, so do you guys have like projections that you guys are projecting out for the year?
At the moment, I don't have anything, projections on me.
All right. But you're technically a manager then. So are you speaking for your mom?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. My last question is, why did you guys go quiet when staff was trying to talk to you guys to get a clear picture, a clear understanding of what's going on with Blue Diamond? So that's not acting in good faith.
Yeah, definitely. During that time, just early 2026, we also went through a audit with the IRS, so that took up a majority of our time going through these. So it was dealing with that, running operations, as well as having to address these city issues as well. So it's just overwhelming for us in these times.
You got to speak to Charles. Got to speak to him. If you're having issues, you need a timeline adjustment. Got to go through staff. That's all I have.
Great, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I had just a couple of questions. Thanks for coming tonight. Are you the only delivery business in Port Hueneme?
No.
Are you one of two?
I believe there's more than two, maybe.
There are 4 cannabis delivery businesses in the city.
And do you have other cannabis delivery businesses in other areas?
We do have one more in Oceano, California, yes.
Okay. So you're juggling 2 businesses right now?
Yes.
So you're thinking that the way that you're going to be able to come up with your payments is to draw from the other business? Is that what you're thinking?
That's maybe not. I don't have a definitive answer on where those funds would come from.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Great. If there are no other questions, thank you so much, Mr. Vasquez. Madam Clerk, do we have any other public comments?
No other public comments.
Great, thank you. So we will now close the public hearing. It is now 8:21. And we have before us, we adopt a resolution determining the Blue Diamond LLC is out of compliance and in default of its development agreement, and direct staff to provide written notice to the city's intent to revoke the agreement if the default is not approved within 30 days, and take such additional related action that may be desirable. Is there a motion and a second? Let me ask first, is there any other additional actions that are desired or do we have the recommendation of staff? If so, is there a motion in a second?
So move.
Second.
Great. Is there any additional discussion?
I just want to make a comment, Mr. Vasquez, Mr. Gonzalez, man, I'm rooting for you guys, but you guys have to come into compliance. This taking on way too long. You guys had a lot of time. So again, we're rooting for you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, Madam Clerk, please conduct a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Yes.
Mayor McQueen Lejeune.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
And I think
great,
with-
thank you.
With that, we'll have our team follow up and let them know how they, what needs to be done specifically to potentially get back into compliance within that 30-day period.
Good luck. Got another chance.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to move to business item number 14, Beach Erosion Authority for Clean Oceans Nourishment proposal. Will staff please present the report?
Yeah, and I'll just give a brief introduction to our Beacon director. Just as some background, and I think it's come up a couple times today on other items as well, but we definitely are hearing from different agencies and entities about increasing costs and things like that. And so, and I think the council's aware that we've had to reject a lot of requests for increased costs recently. But there are some agencies that have been identified as city council priorities. And so those requests for fee increases would come to the city council. And our recommendation is that the council receive the presentation from Beacon, the request for the updated membership dues, but also as part of that, when an agency is a priority of the city council, I always also recommend that the council make sure that they understand the goals and objectives of the entity, and that the council identify any goals and objectives they have, essentially so that on a year-over-year basis, the city council can ensure that they are getting what they expect from each entity that we support with our tight general fund budget, as we continue to just keep trying to keep that budget balanced. So with that, I've asked Beacon Director Mark Baylor to give an overview on Beacon and to have that conversation with the City Council. So with that, I'll introduce Mr. Baylor.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Excuse me. My name is Mark Baylor, and I am the Executive Director of Beacon. I've served in this position since 2020, and I have come before you on numerous occasions over the last few years. The last one was several months ago to talk about harbor dredging and the maintenance of your beach here. I was asked to talk about three things tonight: Beacon's goals and objectives, its activities, and the dues request. So let me get into it. Just a little bit of background. I'm not sure all of you are as familiar with Beacon as our council members Gama and Hernandez. So I want to remind you that Beacon is a joint powers authority of 8 jurisdictions that's 40 years old, including the city of Port Hueneme, which has been a member of Beacon since its formation. The landscape of Beacon starts in the Santa Maria River and extends all the way to the Mugu Canyon. And the point here is that North County Santa Barbara sediment is South County Santa Barbara beaches. Santa Barbara sediment is Carpinteria beaches. Ventura sand and the Guanacario River sand is your beaches, except we have interrupted that flow of sand and sediment to our natural beaches extensively. And so what the scientists tell us as a function of climate change, sea level rise, and other threats of weather and storms is that if we don't increase our management over the course of the next 75 years, we could lose 1/4 to 3/4 of our beaches across Southern California. Now, the citation here is from a scientist at UC Santa Cruz, who's a member of the Beacon Science Advisory Committee. And the numbers are similar
in our two counties. So the question is, why Beacon? Because without coordinated activity, we won't save our beaches. So I'm here to give you a little background on the goals and objectives for Beacon as background to the request for dues. We operate from a strategic plan. We have briefed you on the strategic plan on, I think, 2 occasions over the course of the last 5 years. We have multiple benefits that we seek to achieve, and many of those are focused on your portion of the Ventura County coast. So I'm not going to repeat them all in the interest of time. You can review them. And I'm happy to provide any background information that you might need. So what do we do? What does Beacon do in Ventura County and in your region in Port Hueneme? We do many things. We attempt to provide for the natural and ecological preservation of our beaches, as well as for public and human use, including public recreation. We focused on several things in your landscape that are essential and material to the preservation of your city beach. And that is the dredging that occurs every other year, or on a schedule that's complementary to every other year, that takes the sand out of the sand trap at Channel Islands Harbor that used to naturally actually get to your beach and bring it here on a managed basis. It's a very expensive proposition. It involves numerous levels of government and mobilizing the federal government to pay a great share of this, including the Navy, which pays 19% of the total cost. In addition, we understand that you have needs to preserve your recreational beach. Beacon was one of the strongest proponents in 2013 of the Costa Conservancy grant to preserve the roadway and the path that was challenged by the erosion because we didn't get enough sand. Since that time, Beacon has dedicated itself to ensure that, in cooperation with you and the County of Ventura, that we get the sand we need to Hueneme. And in that case, we have sponsored and coordinated a meeting called the Ventura Sand Summit. And we bring all the principles. This by itself doesn't ensure funding, Beacon's efforts by itself. But in cooperation, it has resulted in us meeting our goals for sand greater in the last 5 years than we have in the previous 10 years. The other thing I want to say is that we provide some of the best science to support the best policy. You have in your county 2 or 3 of the most prominent sediment scientists, and they're on the Beacon SAC, and they've come to testify before you. And we rely on this scientific brain trust to provide all of us, all the 8 jurisdictions, the best policy. In addition, we're doing some special studies of this area because the erosion threat is so great. We partnered with the Navy, and we partnered with the academic community to see if there aren't additional ways that we can bolster the sand management program in your community. And finally, we have a goal, a benefit goal of protecting coastal water quality, as well as human use, as well as the ecology of our coast. We have significant water quality problems in the region, and you suffer on your beaches because we have uncontrolled pollution through our stormwater system. We've addressed this with the city of Oxnard, with the city of Hueneme, and we'd like to get additional funds to address stormwater pollution, which is a continuing problem for our recreational beaches. So this is what we've been doing, and let me go on to describe how we aid the city and our partnership. We develop these materials to lobby and to advocate. So there's an example of just one of the materials we've developed to use with our local legislators who aren't as familiar with your circumstances as you are, including county supervisors. Supervisor Lopez is very, very knowledgeable, but not all 5 are very knowledgeable, and we've gone there to tell them what's at risk because they actually own and manage Channel Islands Harbor. So let me get into the requests that we made. I want to remind you that Point Hueneme has been a member of the JPA since its founding, and that across time, Hueneme has paid the dues that it's been asked to, but it's being done by the members of the Beacon Board. I don't set dues. The Beacon Board does. And in their wisdom, they set a due structure that was sized to the jurisdiction. So you can see in your own case, you're one of the smaller population cities. one of the smaller coastal landscape jurisdictions, there's the amount of coast you have, and you pay commensurate small city rate. You pay that along with the city of Goleta and the city of Carpinteria. Carpinteria is a little smaller than you by population, has about the same landscape, coastal landscape. And then we charge the larger cities more, or the Beacon members charge themselves more, and then we charge a county rate. We have, and I'm going to say this with some hazard, we have an under-resourced, much like a under-capitalized small business with Beacon. I want to make this point because people think Beacon is a really big agency. The Beacon budget is a little over $400,000 a year. We have several consulting staff, but if you add it all up, we're a little over 2 PYs, or personnel years, or FTE, full-time equivalents. We're a very small agency, but we kind of punch above our weight with the partnership with the cities and the counties, and we think we're highly efficient in what we deliver as a service. We're a professional services organization, and we know how to do projects, and we can show promise with our projects. And I want to demonstrate to you that the money you pay is incredibly strategically valuable to this provision of your own infrastructure. One of your most important physical and social infrastructures, and you said it already, it's the beach. Hundreds of thousands of people come to your community every year to go to the beach or to go to the pier. You have one of the most popular piers in the region. At least a couple thousand people a year might visit your pier. We're examining this right now to figure out what kind of beach attendance data you might all have and what we could offer you. Because one of the things we bring is good social science data. And it matters economically as you discuss your city budget and your community budget, because let's just do a real quick example, and I'll finish real quickly. Say 100,000 people is how many people visit your community for the beach. That's your number. And we do a economic multiplier, and we tell you, what does that mean for community economics? But what if it's 200,000, not 100,000? What if the numbers we have are aged and old? You need current numbers, because the difference between 100,000 and 200,000 visitors, let's say on $34 a day each or $62 a day each when they go to the beach, that is significant economic benefit. And I'll just finish with, what are we going to do with the dues we are asking you for? We're going to do everything we do now and a little bit more, because the dues increase to our budget is a little bit. I believe the dues that the board approved for Hueneme is $4,975, which in absolute amount isn't a large number, but Beacon recognizes that it's a lot of money. And we hire good staff and good consultants who we pay less than market. I'm just going to say it. In order to get the best value. So you can see we have a series of ongoing activities. We coordinate with our members, we fundraise, we lobby, we advocate. We also develop the best sediment science, as we've discussed. In addition, we're doing this beach attendance, beach access research because we think we need to know who we are that go to the beach. This is an area that we don't have good data on. And we're trying to establish who comes to Hueneme. So you can do your marketing, so you can do your economic development, so you can get more people to the city to do the things that you offer. And you have, and I was at your pier today, and on the beach today for about an hour and a half, you have an incredible waterfront, an incredible beach, an incredible pier, and incredible facilities. You had dozens and dozens of people out at the waterfront today, and it was 5 o'clock at night. The pier must have had 50, 60 people on it fishing today. And we recognize the value of the expense of going to the beach. Why is it important for us to work with you on your pier? Because it's a free fishing experience. You don't even need a fishing permit. And that's a cost consideration. So we're looking at all kinds of coastal recreation. And then finally, I'll say, we're not doing anything that doesn't restore ecology and store the resources that we all want to preserve. So with that, and sorry to rush through it at this hour, but happy to answer any questions. Thank you again for asking me here. I'm making more than one of these presentations in order to explain the Beacon circumstance and why Beacon needs additional resources to be effective in the mission that you've that you've assigned us to do. Thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
Council members, do you have any questions for Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Councilmember Lopez.
Thank you for the presentation.
Sure.
Really appreciate it. So I'm just going to ask the question, fiscal year 25, 26, 26, 27, we're seeing a 15% increase over each additional years, which is totally outpacing inflation. I know this is, I think we're at like 17% of, since we're a small city, we're calculated at 17%. But from the last 2 years, that's a huge increase of over 30%. That's going to impact our general fund. So how do we slow this down? Because it seems like Beacon's going to keep coming every year and asking for another 15%.
I think that's a really perceptive question and a really important question. So let me address the absolute amount and the percentage amount. When I came to Beacon, Beacon was a seriously underfinanced agency. Too much mission, too little funding. I've now developed, in the time I've been there, 2 3-year funding proposals. And the one I asked for 2 years ago asked for a 50% increase on the theory that we couldn't perform and meet the goals that we had, that the members had, including Point Hueneme, because we didn't have the resources. We had under $200,000 a year. And I told the board, you can't run an organization on that. We have no office, no equipment. We're totally virtual. We make our consultants pay for everything that they bring to the table. The business model, as I explained it to Member Gama and to the rest of the members, wasn't sustainable. So we asked for some big visionary increases. The board was not comfortable with my request last year. They did suggest that you meter out the request so it can be programmed effectively by the jurisdictions, because the amount is more important than the percentage. We started underwater. That's my term, not your term. And I've tried to make that case to my board, and I think I have made the case to the board. Because the threats are accelerating. You know this from your own experience here in your community. We know this from experience in the last flooding in Oxnard and in Port Hueneme. We have these extreme events, we have these accelerating changes, and unless we get our arms around them and have good strategies, we just can't have the result we want. So I'm totally comfortable with the discussion about that's a big percentage. But it's a big percentage of a small amount. And so when you say it's above cost of living, and I mean this very respectfully, if I only get cost of living, I'm losing the race. You pay the expenses, you pay gas, you pay all these things. We can't continue to go behind and expect good results. So I mean this the best way. I stood up and said, we can't do it this way. We have to recognize that you have to invest funds to get return in funds. And you see this with your waterfront and with your pier and everything. You must make good investments in order to achieve the results you want and the return you want. So that's my big, theoretical answer to you. Practical answer is, I think the measured amount we're asking for is justified. Happy to get into that discussion of what Beacon needs. I'll tell you one part of this is the following. We act with consultants as 1099 employees, so they bring everything. We can't hire administrative services personnel because we don't pay them enough. It's a part-time job, and people don't live part-time. They live as a whole body. So we're struggling trying to get, because everybody in the agency except me is part-time, to get the professional services that don't really come in the neat little pieces that we might want financially. That's a long answer to your question, but this is something that keeps me awake at night. I do want you to approve the dues. I want you to understand why you would do that. And I want you to be confident that the return you'll get will be 3 to 5 times what you invest. And I'll try to give any example that you might want to hear in order to demonstrate that. That's my long answer. And I do respect the question. Thank you for asking it.
Yeah. So next question is, I've been to a joint committee meeting with the port and the city of Port Hueneme, and the county of Ventura, with I think it was Channel Islands, they presented on sand replacement, and the county specifically said they're the lead agency. So how do we work, how does Beacon and the County of Ventura, who's the lead?
So I can't say what they said, but if this is with regard to the dredging of the sand trap for purposes of getting you sand here, the county is not the lead. The lead is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the bulk of the money comes from the Corps and from the Navy.
No, yeah.
The county provides all the material assistance for logistics to do the dredging. So the office, and they coordinate on the permits. So it's a multi-agency, I'm forgetting the term I was going to use, but I won't say it, because it's a multi-agency coordination. So there's not just one or two, there's three. And then beyond that, the Corps doesn't approve its own funding. The Corps takes authorization appropriations from the U.S. House of Representatives. So we're in as much conversation, and they're as much in the lead, the two representatives in our district, as to how this is going to come out. So I don't know what the county said exactly.
Yeah, I think too many hands in the pot can ruin, the soup, right? So I was just curious. I heard it saying the county's the lead when it comes to, sand replenishment.
I don't know what.
Of course, goes to the Army Corps of Engineers. I get all that. I was just curious between Beacon and Ventura County.
So I coordinate with Ventura County staff, Mark Tripp, all the time. I'm in the face of the supervisors all the time. I'm making sure that their information is getting out and that they communicate with everybody and that they communicate to the funders what we need. But I also communicate with the Corps independently, and that's a bureaucracy. So I'm with the LA district. I'm with headquarters. We're trying to find that system. And I don't think it's intentional, but life is complicated. But you know that life is very complicated. And then we have the Navy and the Corps trying to coordinate on their federal funding. So it is very complicated. And I'll say this, the county has a material role because they operate Channel Islands. They provide material result. The Corps has a material role. The funders have a material role. But you at the city of Point Hueneme have a material role. And so does Beacon. And that's to keep the coalition together, and that's to keep the issue in front of everybody and to put the pressure on them. And I will say this, even though it's been a bumpy ride for 5 years, we have as much sand on your beach now, and we have in the last 5 years, than we've had in the last 10. We're doing so much better by the coordinated approach to how to solve this problem, because it is a group situation. And so that's my kind of long answer. Sorry for me to talk so long.
I guess the next question I have is more for, you're a scientist. But specifically, I was at Point Mugu day before yesterday. They're putting big rock on the beach for high energy wave climate action. They're seeing possible El Nino swells. So they're building back, preparing for high energy climate activity. So I guess I do have a question for one of the your scientists.
Councilmember Lopez, can we see if any of the other council members have any questions, and then we'll come back. Okay. Any other council members have any questions?
Yes.
For Mr. Availar? Okay. Councilmember Perez?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have a kind of a multi-part question, but it's specific to Hueneme. So what can our community expect a return on investment with the increased funding? And with the increased funding, how is Beacon directly going to benefit Port Hueneme? And the third part of that is, how do you ensure smaller cities receive equitable attention and resources compared to the larger cities that are paying more?
I want to be as honest as I can about that. We service all our members as much as we can with the staff capacity we have. Hueneme, 4 or 5 years ago, asked for additional help from Beacon, made an explicit statement that if you don't come down here, why do we need you? We have come down here. Our scientists have come down here. Our staff have come down here. I've come down here to show the commitment that we are paying attention. Our assumption of the management of the Sand Summit. It's a big staff commitment. We have 6 people come. We have all the experts come. We have really good common information, and from that we move people. So I can't promise you a outcome based on the investment. I can promise you a commitment to use those resources to create that outcome. And as I mentioned on my slide, over the course of this coming year, we're actually going to do more advocacy and more lobbying on the question of finance, so we assure that there's no gap in finance in a very difficult financing era in the federal government, so that you don't have a trough and we lose all this sand before we have the next cycle of sand. So we have a strategy, we have a time frame, we have the instruments we're going to use, our direct lobbying, our Sand Summit, our advocacy, our coordination work. And that, all I can say is that would be the best effort we could give you, good faith, to give you the benefit of the realizing the better investment. That $1 equals something synergistically more. I do think it does, though, because I think what we're raising as a community is nearly $20 million every 2 years. And you're getting 1 to 2 million cubic yards of sand every 2 years. And we want to maintain that. And I mean that as a sincere effort. I can't promise it's gonna deliver, because there are a lot of external factors. I can promise you we're here and we'll stay here and we'll be here, making sure that you get the outcomes that you want, the protection of your recreational beach and growth and resilience around your coastal resources. I hope that answers your question. I don't mean
It
to be
does.
vague.
And to finalize that, and this is a rhetorical question, but it's one I want to know. What happens if we don't approve the funding? What impact will that make for our community, our city, and Beacon as a whole? What does that mean?
That's a decision that I don't want to face, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you how we actually decide on our dues. In contrast to maybe your own budgeteering and budget approval, we have 10 members. To effect a change in dues, we have to get a unanimous vote of all 10 members. I only want unanimous vote. I can't do 9 out of 10. If you can't come with us, we have to rejig our business model to have you come with us. And you know that saying, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. I could do this work, some of it faster, if Beacon was by itself. But I wouldn't be with all of you, and Beacon wouldn't be with you as we did this work. So I think Beacon has an obligation to keep everyone at the table. And if you have a problem with the dues, that we have to discuss that at Beacon, because we want you in the table. We don't want you not to be a full peer member at the table. And I thought the structure of the small, large, and county was a good accommodation to the fiscal resources of the different agencies. And I maintained that when I came on, because people were suggesting everybody pay the same, or just different things that I didn't think was equal or fair in your term. I think this is fair. And I'm coming here telling you, I think it's a fair request among 7 other jurisdictions who have also decided this is fair for them. But it's really for the council to decide. And I hope you deliberate fairly on Beacon's behalf. And you are Beacon. Beacon isn't a foreign body. You're one of the voting members of Beacon. And you've been supportive of Beacon for a very long time. So thank you for the time speaking.
I do have some comments to make, but I'll wait for the appropriate time. But I do have a couple of questions. Facts are complicated, facts are stubborn. And one of the facts that I believe is true is that isn't the dredge project here in the city of Port Hueneme one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in California?
On a continuing basis, year to year, it's probably the largest in California, funded by the Corps.
Right.
It's 1.2 million cubic yards minimally every year, but it's done as 2.4 million cubic yards every other year.
And right now, we're in a pause for 2 years. No, are we having the dredge come back this
Yes.
year? We're having it
The
come
dredge
back
come
this
back.
year.
Yes.
And then after the completion in October, it'll probably finish around March, then we're going to have a 2-year hiatus, right?
To get back on cycle.
Right, get back on cycle. And so this is where, leading up to those 2 years, how do you see your time being spent on on behalf of the city of Port Hueneme?
Because there's no guarantee in that run-up to 2 years that that money is going to stay on the table.
Right,
It's, this is an everyday thing. This isn't a, oh, we did it, and things change. So we would just keep our pedal to the metal, I guess would the term you'd use, to make sure that these funds that are committed are actually appropriated.
Right,
Because the
and-
funds aren't appropriated yet for 2 years out, you know that.
Right.
So therein lies the authorization and the appropriation process.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have an answer to it, but in 2012, 2013, they cut our dredge budget and we lost our sidewalk. In the photo that you had there, that was from 2013. Where was Beacon at that point in time? Like,
I wasn't so actively involved. I don't want to answer at the moment. I don't think Beacon was away, but you got to remember the time period in which we ran through. It's recovery from the Great Recession. I mean, I don't want to recount history.
Right.
I'm too young to even remember this stuff. I wasn't around for it. But there are reasons why. There are fiscal and political reasons why.
The point I'm trying to make is that facts are stubborn, facts are important. There's a multi-level agency project that gets convoluted with the county, with the state, with the Air Resource Board, the air pollution credits, the budget, the dredge, the machinery, and so my view for Beacon is that you're in the best position to facilitate on our behalf. Do you agree with that?
I think Beacon's in a great place to assist these efforts, yes. Are we the best to advocate? No, we have to have all the players on the field. You know,
Right.
we're a team player, and we have to have every player on the team to do that. And that, in that sense, yes, we are a really good advocate. And Beacon is I feel like I'm self-dealing. Beacon is a very highly effective part of your governmental organization in Ventura County.
Correct.
And that's how I see it.
And in terms of lead agency in a project like this that has a rich history of disappointments and successes, it's hard to really point to one lead because there's so many parts that have to come together. And again, do you feel Beacon's in the best position to bring all those parts together?
I think Beacon's the best stylist, sorry to use that term, to do this work. We don't have a dog in the fight. We don't. We don't manage land. We don't regulate land. We're a totally cooperative, voluntaristic association of 8 governments. So I think we're in the best place because I believe the future is cooperative voluntarism. It's not command and control from the top telling people what to do because they don't own it. They're not going to do it. And I think cooperation, coordination is a hallmark of Beacon, and I think that's the right process. So that's just me speaking. I think we're highly effective that way.
Great. Mayor Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
I do have a couple of questions, but they're for staff.
Okay, if they're for staff, can I just, I did have a question. Councilmember Perez kind of talked around it. But my question was more along the lines as, we have 2 members, as you know, that represent the city on Beacon. I am not one of them. My question would have been around if someone were to ask me what's the value of Beacon or what do you get from Beacon? I would want to be able to respond with a product or service. And so, and I think Councilmember Perez kind of touched around that, and I don't think there was a specific response to that question. What is a product or a service that we are getting? And so I'm going to leave that with you. That's kind of what I need to hear. And it's not really about the request for additional funding. It's as an organization that supports our city. What are the products and services that we receive? And I'm not able to answer that question.
If I could just respond, Mayor, both Councilman Gama and I sit on Beacon. He's the lead, I'm the alternate. Yeah. I sit in on all the meetings, and he and I can answer that question. And I would say we get the Sand Summit every year. They organize that for us. We get the science from lead scientists. we get the advocacy for the dredging project. And we're part of a regional collaborative that we can't do alone. This is something that they're a mechanism for us that brings together all the science, all the players, because we're not in this alone. We're just one jurisdiction. So I think those four things that's the return on our investment.
And the last one I would add would be finance and funding, which we spend a lot of time on and which we've contributed to significantly.
And
So
you did talk about the millions of dollars that you bring in through your,
I just think it's the fifth leg of your stool that you were constructing as to services and products.
right. So.
And so maybe we're not taking the information, or we haven't received guidance to really understand, it's not just having the information, it's what do you do with the information? And so I think we have some work to get to, not just receiving the information, but then how do we use that information to get to where, and I understand there are multiple organizations working together to get us to, let's just say, our dredging, right? We have multiple organizations to get there, but at some point we have to be able to identify what the benefits are from each organization that we're providing financial support to. And I'd just like to get there one day.
I could add, over the last almost 8 years, the educational benefit that Beacon has brought to each jurisdiction in understanding how sand migrates south in our littoral cell. And that's been a big part of, I know when I first came to Beacon, I was quite vocal, quite demanding for results and for action that benefits the city of Port Hueneme. And I think the action over the last several years has been the educational piece. I mean, and that's when I say facts are stubborn things, is that's the challenge that we have. Like, if you go back to when we didn't get our sand, how did that happen? And I've often surmised that somebody in Washington was like, well, Port Hueneme, everyone knows that's a natural deep water port. That's partly true, but it's not. And they cut off our sand. Now, did they cut off our sand to let our sidewalk fall in the ocean? I don't think somebody in Washington did that.
Are we still in questions, or are we in
No,
comments?
we're not. I'm making a comment. Thank you.
Well, we're still in questions.
Okay, got it. Go ahead. If you have any questions. Mr.
So
Lama,
let
go
me
ahead.
just say, earlier in the meeting, we were in questions and everybody made a comment, including you, and I didn't hear you say a thing. So
Okay.
not make a
pick
comment.
it.
If you have any, okay, guys, if you have any more questions, Mr. Gama, go ahead with the questions.
I was making a comment.
I'm the one that has questions. I haven't asked questions yet.
Okay, I thought you asked a couple, but go ahead if you have, if everybody.
No, because you
only
interrupted
has.
me.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold
we
on.
were
just-
trying to
hold
answer
on,
your
hold on.
question.
Hold on just a second. Are there any more questions?
Yes,
Okay, so who has the question? You, Mayor Pro Tem?
yes, I have the
Go
questions.
right ahead with your
Thank you.
questions.
Okay. This question is for staff, and I'd like to know how many other joint power authorities do we work with in our city? Who we pay dues to?
Yeah, the one that comes to mind immediately is CJPIA, the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority, and we pay dues to them each year. And none other come to mind, although I'm doing it off the spot.
What
so
about League of California Cities?
It's not a joint powers
Okay,
authority.
but we pay dues to them, right?
Yeah, so we pay dues to the League of California Cities.
Okay, so do we ask them to justify their ROI when budget time comes up and their dues go up?
So whenever we get a dues increase request, my recommendation is to bring it to the council.
Okay, because I've never heard us have this kind of discussion around JPIA or the League of California Cities. And we seem to pull up Beacon almost every other year to ask for justification on why we're increasing dues. And I think that, I know that we're in questions, but this is an important discussion.
We're in questions.
Okay?
Okay, we're in questions. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay.
Can I just
Um,
make one
please
comment
do.
just in response? So one thing that is a little unusual with the Beacon request is that the request actually doesn't come to the full council until after the board votes on it. So one of the questions I was going to suggest was that I think it would be reasonable to ask that in the future these funding requests come to the full council before the board votes on it. I think that hasn't been done historically, but it's something that we should do moving forward, so that the council can understand what the request is paying for. I think I know I've gotten questions a couple of times about 15% increase last year, 15% increase this year. It adds up to, I think it's something like $100,000 over 2 years across those organizations. And I've been asked, what does that pay for? And I don't know what the answer to that is.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that should be provided to the council beforehand.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Okay, so you all said you all have some questions for some other folks in the room. Who has questions?
I have a question for Mayor. Has your question been answered?
You said, has my question been answered?
Yes.
No, it has not been answered.
She
Okay.
didn't ask for an answer.
But, okay, but I'm okay with that. I mean, if we have some work to do, we have some work to do. The answer that was given was that we get advocacy. Okay, what is that advocacy? Where? What happens? We get science, we get education, but what do we do with that? So that's kind of where I am. I'm not right now. I'm not for or against anything. I'm just really trying to get some information, and so that's what I'm waiting for. And I really haven't heard anything except we get data, right? And so I think that what we should be thinking about is what do we do with that and how is it benefiting us? And not just in general, but if we're talking about Beacon, then it's about Beacon. And so
Mayor,
I'm not a yes or a no. I'm not ready to make a decision. I'm just trying to gather data at this time.
Well, we can't answer it if we're in questions. So, I mean, I'm sure Gama has a lot to say. I have a lot to say.
yeah.
So if you just heard what I said a minute ago, if you have any questions for folks that are in the room, you all said you had questions for people in the audience. Let's bring them up to the podium and you ask the questions.
No, I don't
And
have any
then-
more questions. I have comments and answers
Okay.
to your questions.
Okay,
I
let's go.
would
Does
like,
anybody on the dais have any questions for any of the Beacon representatives that are in the room?
I believe
No?
your
Okay.
question remains unanswered, Mayor.
She doesn't care.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like it's going to be answered.
Well, if we,
But let's move on. So what are the comments? Councilmember Lopez, do you have any comments?
No.
Okay, no. Okay, so let's go. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
what was that? No. You didn't ask me.
Well, I've been asking and nobody's saying anything.
We are asking for questions, but we want to make comments. We want to answer your
We want to try to
question.
answer your question for one, if you allow us. And you're muted.
You muted yourself, Mayor.
I just asked anybody had any comments. Anybody have any comments?
Yes.
I have a
What?
comment.
Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Lopez. Perez.
So I'm there with you, Mayor, about the questions, and I hear a lot about the education information, and I have to justify the amount of dues we're paying for education and information. And I'm just trying to understand it as well. I
Well,
don't think that's,
May I answer? And I mean this, and
Any other comments?
Mark is speaking right now.
I'm happy to wait till the comments are over and answer the comments if it's appropriate.
If you have a response to her comment, go right ahead, Mr.
I do. I think it was,
Vela.
I think I want to be fair to Beacon and fair to you at the council. I think that was an incomplete list. I think tonight I've talked about finance, advocacy, science, education, lobbying, project development, and successes. We've delivered to you in coordination the most funding for the dredge project, which gives you the widest beach you've had in the last 5 years than in the previous 10, because we've dedicated our time to the request that you made to us, spending your dues in your community. What I did say was I couldn't promise what the outcome would be from these efforts, because I can't do that. Too many external factors. But it extends beyond the 2 issue items that you identified, and it specifically relates to the project that protects your beach, the dredging project at Channel Islands Harbor. So I want to be specific, that we give you specific services and specific products that allow the collective to be successful in making sure that your beach sand gets to your beach. And I think that's an accomplishment and a deliverable. And I stand by that. That's what we'll continue to deliver to you. And the reason we need more funds is because it takes more effort, unit basis every day, and we're a very under-financed agency. I think that's a more complete answer. So I wanted to give the benefit of Beacon to have that on the record. That's all.
Okay, Councilmember Perez, did you have anything else?
No.
Okay, Councilmember Gama,
Are we in questions?
we're in comments. Do you have any comments?
Yes, I do. Like I said, coastal facts are stubborn things, and one of the priorities that when I came to Beacon was to make sure that everybody was dealing with the same facts. And if you just ask 10 people on the beach in Hueneme, hey, what's going on with the beach? Everybody has a different explanation. So utilizing Beacon to help get all those different stakeholders dealing with the same set of facts is super important. Why? In bureaucracies, people retire, new people come, and then sometimes poor decisions are made if we're not getting the facts out there for people to understand. And that's what I believe happened in 2012 and 2013. Nobody would deliberately say, we're not going to deliver 900,000 cubic yards of sand so we could watch the sidewalk in Port Hueneme fall in, so they could close their pier for 2 years and spend $2.5 million out of their reserves to install riprap and rocks on the beach. So Beacon is there for us to avoid that situation in the future. And that's why I talked earlier about, we're having the dredge come back this year to do some contouring, and there's some funky things that have been happening. For the first time that I know of, we've had dredging 3 consecutive years, albeit it was reduced amount, I believe, correct? And then, so now we're going to go for a 2-year hiatus. My fear is that someone in Washington is going to decide, let's just give them a million cubic yards of sand, because we've been out there for the last 3 years in a row, and it's supposed to be a biannual thing. This is why I say facts matter. This is why it's important for Beacon to be involved and make sure everybody's dealing with the same set of facts, because there's only one set of facts that are relevant to Hueneme Beach, and that's all we as a council are concerned about is losing our beach. And so I believe Beacon is now in the best position over the last 8 years that I've been involved in to advocate for the city of Port Hueneme with all those various partners.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you. I want to say just a couple of things. I think we need Beacon more than we ever do now, because we have an administration in office right now who's not climate friendly and not friendly to California. So we need an organization like Beacon. And I'm actually very surprised that we're getting the questions from council that we're getting, which tells me that perhaps we're not doing a good enough job in informing city council about what's happening at these Beacon meetings. Or we're not getting our city council members to attend the Sand Summit, because if you had attended the Sand Summit, you would have those answers to a lot of the questions that you have. So I think we need to do a better job. I think we need Beacon, and I'm going to vote yes on this request.
Yeah, thank you.
One more thing I want to agree to is that we do have to come during budget time and get the increase on the budget before the the vote is taken at the Beacon meeting.
I heard you.
Great, thank you. It's really loud here now. Madam Clerk, did I ask you if there were any public comments?
Yes, you did, and there were none.
Oh, okay, great. I'll just say this, Mayor Pro Tem, I think you're right? It's the lack of knowledge of what Beacon does. So I think that's a true statement. The other thing I'd like to just say is that I don't believe that anyone has said we don't need Beacon. This is really about this one situation or this one request. And so I think we can work through that. I would like to know, Mr. Baylor, I'm sorry, it's really loud here. Mr. Baylor, if the city manager were to ask you for a list, right, of what we should expect or what tasking or products you've provided to us, would you be able to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you. And so with that, I know this is about, let's see. So we're receiving the presentation and we've discussed the authority, the goals and objectives, and to consider the request for additional financial support. I think, Mayor Pro Tem, you mentioned about financial, the increase and the budget. I think that's important, that we need to make sure we make sure we have that discussion during the iteration of budget. And so is there any special additional guidance any council member would like to add to this item before I call for a motion? And
Councilmember Gama would.
Councilmember Gama.
Yes, I know Mark knows this and my colleagues up here, Councilmember Hernandez knows this, but I've been very demanding on Beacon in representing the interests of the city of Port Hueneme as it relates to dredging. And to me, that's the only reason why we're a part of Beacon. And I think Mark would agree with that. And I also would say that my expectation is for Beacon, I don't like to assume the lead role, but assume a strong role in bringing all the partners together so that we have advanced work in securing that funding 2 years out, because that's what we need to be working on today, is what's happening 2 years from now. And I think that may have been the problem in the past. And so that's been my expectation. I think Mark's very clear on that. I'm pretty vocal in advocating for the city of Port Hueneme. And I feel that the actions of the Army Corps over the last several years kind of speak to that. The results are good.
Any final comments?
Yes, I would like
Go
to
right
add
ahead.
to your recommendation, Mayor, about the list to provide our city manager, and also any questions, requests, help, whatever additional assistance he needs when the time comes, when it's necessary, that he get as well.
Great, thank you. If anyone else, if there's no one else, let's take is there a motion and a second?
So
And please
moved.
describe the motion.
Who are you asking to describe the motion?
Whoever's going to make
Yeah,
it.
I'm just saying, whoever has the motion, please make sure you add the expectations from what we've talked about.
Yeah, the recommendation was for council to provide direction and consider the request, so the motion should include what council's direction is and response to the request.
Okay, so I'm making the motion to approve the expenditure for the fee increase. We're also asking that a list be provided to the city manager of the returns, the ROIs, a list of ROIs. I believe a lot of them were listed in the slides that you presented, so maybe you could leave us a set of your slides, Mark. And that we budget ahead of time before the vote is taken on the fee increase. What else?
Great, I think that's good.
And I would just add, take a prominent role in in communicating with the Corps and all the other partners leading up to 2 years out for our dredge project.
Are you adding that to your motion?
Yes, I'll accept that.
Beacon has no problem agreeing to any of those conditions, just so you know. Thank you for your
So I
consideration.
heard a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, are there any further discussion? I think we've already done that, but any further discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, will you please take roll?
Councilmember Gama?
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez?
Yes.
Councilmember Perez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez?
Yes.
Mayor McQueen Lejeune?
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
great, thank you. We're
Beacon-
gonna move to, go ahead.
If I can, Beacon would like to thank you for your commitment and for the discussion tonight. And I heard everything you said, and we will be responsive at every level. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Great, thank you for the presentation and being here tonight and taking the questions. We're gonna move to item number 15, First Amendment to 2025 Settlement Agreement with the Oxnard Harbor District regarding the Community Benefit Fund process. Staff, City Manager, is that gonna be you?
No, Mayor, I'll be handling that one this evening.
Okay, great, thank you.
So thank you very much. As you all likely recall, a few months back, the port reached out regarding an amendment to the 2015 settlement agreement, specifically with respect to how the CBF funds are allocated. Currently, you have a joint meeting wherein members of the port and members of this council jointly have to agree on how the money is allocated and spent. And there's provision in the agreement that says after a 3-year period, if no agreement is made, each party then can independently, their own boards can decide how to spend their half of that allocation for that period. The proposed amendment would basically jump right to that. It would eliminate the joint meeting and split the allocation of CBF 50-50 between the port and the city, with each respective legislative body making their own determination how to spend that money each year. That concept was brought to us in a draft First Amendment to the settlement agreement. The city manager and I both had some concern with some of the language that was in that initial draft. We subsequently met with the general manager and general counsel for the port in person, had a very productive meeting wherein we discussed what our concerns were and kind of reached a joint idea of what might work in this respect should our respective legislative bodies agree to the change. We went back and forth between a couple of drafts and landed on the draft that is before you tonight, which both the city manager and I concur is workable from the city's perspective and addresses some of the legal concerns that I had originally as well. Essentially, it is just what we discussed, eliminates the joint meeting, puts 50% into each body's hands. There are no new reporting requirements for this, but it does require each agency to keep a record of that spending on a specific form. And it also requires that each agency's council basically approve as to form that the requested spending fits within the categories of the settlement agreement. So that is what is before you tonight. Again, I'm not making any recommendation whether to do this or not, but if should there be a desire to go in this direction, I can approve as to form the amendment as it's drafted here tonight. And if you have any questions, both James and I are available to address those.
Great. Are there any questions, council? Councilmember Lopez, you have any questions?
I have one question. Restricted fund control, how will the 50% city allocation be tracked in our internal accounting system?
I'll leave that's what James.
Yeah, and so we agreed in those conversations with the port and when talking about putting like parameters into place to really make this work well for everybody. And so we had talked as part of that about actually creating a restricted fund where this money would be deposited into, and it can only be used for the purposes identified in the original agreement and now in the amendment. And so I've already talked to our finance team, and we are able to do that. And we actually we've talked a lot as a council about if we had a time machine, we could go back, you know, to the start of this agreement. That's probably something we would have talked about doing from the beginning. And so I think for us at this point, with this sort of being a fresh start as it relates to CBF, we believe we're able to do it, and we recommend agreeing to do it as part of that agreement and just making sure that these dollars are able to be really tracked closely to make sure they're going to their intended use. So.
Got it. Thank you. That's all I had.
So I have a question, and maybe it's a rhetorical question, maybe you can't answer it, but why is this amendment acceptable and okay, but when we want to talk about amending the agreement, it's all full stop?
I think you answered your own question with the rhetorical nature of it. I can't speak for the port on why prior discussions on that topic or why your prior council addressed it the way it was done then. This agreements can always be amended. And so this is kind of, we know that there's some other issues that both parties may want to address in the future on this. This is kind of a first step in something that seems like something that might be something both sides mutually agreeable to and benefit and make things a little easier. So I'm hoping that this is kind of a first step in addressing in collaboration with the port on other issues that may arise on this agreement in the future. Can't speak to what happened in the past, though, or what was going on in other people's minds.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
For the city manager, are we suggesting or are you recommending that we use the community benefit fund to support or pay Beacon's invoice?
So today's item is related to just making the amendment. I think if council were to approve this in August, we have a tentative item scheduled to talk about what could be paid for from the CBF. And I think, when we look at the budget being tight and we see increases in certain areas that fall under, Category 1 sand replenishment, that may be a path to fund those items in the future. So it's a possibility, but this item isn't agendized to discuss possible projects. It's just agendized to discuss whether we accept the change or not.
So if we, did the port approve this already?
The port approved.
Yes.
Yep.
I got an email from the council today. I haven't watched the meeting, but their general counsel did email me this afternoon after their meeting and told me that they passed it unanimously 5-0.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to.
Hold on just a second. Mayor Pro.
No, I have no questions, thank you.
Okay, I did have just a couple. Let me get there. So there was, I guess I have two questions. Let me get to them first here. One spoke about items or event, whatever we select have to be in line with the city and the port's mission. How do we do that without coming together and making the decision, right? Or is
That's one of three categories is the shared mission concept. If something falls within both their missions, and it doesn't require a coming together. It would require me to look at the port's missions to see if how it was in line and approved it. But I would think that 90-something% of the funding that you're going to want to do are going to fall under categories A or B, which are the shoreline protection or community development sections. The shared mission statement is a third option for kind of other things that come up along the road, usually because it's a collaborative thing where, us or the port come to the other and say, hey, we have this idea, but we might want to pool some resources on that kind of thing.
You muted yourself, Mayor.
Sorry, there was also another comment about the whatever's being selected, whether it be the city or the port, they have to support or benefit the Port Hueneme residents. Is that has been agreed to?
Yeah. So that's under section category B, I think is where you're getting to that, where it says sponsorship of special events, support of civic organizations, similar activities which are based in the city of Port Hueneme or which primarily support and benefit the residents of the city of Port Hueneme.
Yes, okay.
Mayor, I got.
And my final question was around the list, the project list. And so just want to make sure that I'm clear, the 115,000 that's listed for the Bard Monument, and it says potential add back, is that the city's portion?
So that is the amount of funding that had previously been approved by the city and the port in prior year cycles towards the statue. And so, and we mentioned in the staff report, I think the port had indicated that that project turned into a much larger project than they had expected, and they were using significant other dollars to complete the project. So the idea was, rather than try to sort of divvy out, how much did we pay, and then how much of the statue, does that mean, that is CBF and how much isn't? Rather than do that, the proposal from the port was to restore those dollars, return those dollars that had been previously approved for that monument to the CBF fund, and then basically have that be part of the refunded portion of unspent dollars from prior years. So that's what's being proposed as part of this agreement.
Okay, so let me ask it a little differently then. The 392,000 that's listed here, that would then be split 50-50?
Yes. I think you froze. Oh.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, you're
So
back.
the question is, with that 395, is that what will be distributed 50-50?
Yes.
395?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
And so,
approximately $196,000.
okay, and the final question is, there was a comment that we got this list from the port. Have we reviewed the list for accuracy?
Yeah, we've been working with the port for probably the last 7 or 8 months on that list. I think we worked on it in bursts where, 7 or 8 months ago, we sat down and we went through the list, our finance team, their finance team. And then little by little, over the last couple of months while we're working on this, we talked about, okay, well, what about this project? Or, how about, like I said, the port proposing, well, how about we include the statue in there? So we've worked together through that. And, some of the projects, and I know we talked about this in some of the joint meetings we had, but some of the projects I think had been like earmarked, but then specificity had never been given to them. So there was just never really a specific project approved. And then in some other ones, there were actually some examples where like we had allocated funding, but then those groups ended up not collecting the funding because they weren't going to do the project that had been discussed. So short answer is yes, we've worked through that list with them to try to make sure that we captured everything that hadn't been completed.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions or any other questions before we go to public comments?
I got one question.
Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Lopez.
So Section 1D, City Attorney Approval Standard requires the city attorney to concur that expenditures meet Section 10 criteria. So my question is, what happens if the city attorney and district general counsel disagree on whether proposed project type falls within an opportunistic endeavor or community development? So what if there's disagreement?
So each respective agency does it with their own counsel. So we don't have to both approve each other's things or agree to each other's allocations before they can happen. The idea here is it's just a check on a recommendation before it comes to you to approve that in this case, I've looked at it and in my opinion, it conforms with the requirements of this agreement. It really doesn't matter what their general counsel thinks about it any more than my opinion among what they does about it. That's not to say that either agency can't challenge the other agency's decisions at some point later in the future, but that that attorney review is strictly internal with our own client.
So you're the arbitrator for us.
I wouldn't say the arbitrator, but just kind of a check and balance, just kind of a,
Quality control.
Yeah, a little, and same thing on their side. I think to, prevent, staff from putting some budget item on there that might not comply and it being spent without that check.
Okay.
I think it's I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know why, but it was an important one to the port, and we tweaked the language to make sure that it was, it wasn't creating any roadblocks or hindrances, and talked to James about the process. So I wanted to make sure there weren't additional layers of process and expense, that we have to go through just to do this. And because the procedure is going to be to bring these items to you to a meeting to approve, it'll just be something I see on the agenda and sign off on. So it shouldn't add anything to it's something I would do anyway.
So I guess
agenda review.
to finish that question, so we report out to the port?
Nope, there's no reporting requirements. That was something we specifically asked to remove. So there's no mandatory type of reporting, other than we have to keep our own records on a form that we agreed upon that they can in the future ask for if they want through a Public Records Act request, and we'll give them a copy of that form. And works the same way on the other side. And it's the way that most interagency agreements like this would be. You wouldn't have, I don't have to go prove to you every time I do something that I'm doing it right and report it. But if they question it, they can certainly ask for copies of it, and we of theirs.
Thank you.
There's one little caveat to that, which is that as part of the agreement, we also agree to work together to do press releases and announcements about the project. So there definitely will be interaction. When we approve projects, we're going to work, and vice versa. We work with each other to announce those, and each will be informed of what those projects are.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I just thought of one other thing I wanted to address, because I know it had been brought up in the past. And it's the legalese you're going to see in there regarding waivers, just to make sure everybody understands this, because this was tweaked a little bit as well. And the waiver language in the amendment basically says that neither party, neither the port nor us, can sue the other party for anything related to CBF prior to the execution of this amendment. So we're putting the past behind us. And, whether either side has any concerns about the way CBF was handled in the past, vis-a-vis the settlement agreement, or how the meetings were held, or how decisions were made, we're both equally saying the past is the past, and we're starting over fresh with this agreement. But that's just with respect to CBF. It does not waive any other claims unrelated to the CBF process.
Great, thank you. Any other questions before we move on to public comments? Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
We have one public comment from Rich Rollins.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. While not being privy to the actual document that's being approved, as a citizen, I have some questions that perhaps you can discuss and make as a citizen more comfortable with it. But my understanding is that there's currently $400,000 that hasn't been spent, and that $200,000 will go to the city council to make a decision, and $200,000 will go to the port to make a decision. Both of these $200,000 should benefit the city of Port Hueneme, and neither party has to get approval from the other party to make that decision. My question as we move forward will be that while the port will independently decide how they best should spend the money to benefit the Port of Hueneme. My question as we move forward will be how the city council will make a decision on how to spend that $200,000. Will there be a community process? Will there be priorities? Those types of things. Again, this hasn't been, you haven't approved this decision yet, but in the back of my mind, there's a lot of various different community groups and a lot of different things that the citizens can benefit, and hopefully the city council will develop a fair and open process to get that input from our community.
Thank you.
No other comments, Mayor.
Thank you. With that said, we are
One more.
looking at item number 15. May I have a motion and a second to approve?
May I ask one more question?
Yes, go right ahead.
Just want to confirm that, 'cause I think I heard City Attorney, you say that community benefit fund dollars need to benefit the community of the city of Port Hueneme. Is that correct?
Under category 2, I believe, or B, the category A is the shoreline protection one, which has its own language. So I'm looking at page 6 of 15 of the settlement agreement under section 2.
Okay.
Subsection A, then you'll see the change, shoreline protection. So that's the first category. So it sets forth specific areas there to protect the NCEL owned by the district and Hueneme Beach Park owned by the city.
So
That's separate from the next section B, which has the language I spoke to regarding based in the city of Port Hueneme or support or benefit the residents of the city of Port Hueneme. It could be either or of those two.
Okay.
And then C is the open collaborative one, should we want to do something collaborative with them in the future as well.
So it does not include the city of Oxnard?
No.
A does not include the city of Oxnard. B could if it was an organization that benefited the residents of the city of Port Hueneme that was located in the city of Oxnard. That would fit under section B.
Okay.
But the organization has to directly benefit the residents of the city of Port Hueneme.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions, can we get a motion and a second for this item?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Thank you.
If not, Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Yes.
Mayor McQueen Lejeune.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Mayor, you muted.
Sorry, I thought I was gonna get all the way through. Designation of voting delegate and alternates for the 2026 League of California Cities Annual Conference. Staff, please present the report.
Yeah, and this one will be brief. It's that time of year again. We do this every year where the council has the opportunity to appoint a voting delegate and up to 2 alternates to attend the League of Cities Annual Conference and vote on behalf of the City Council. The conference this year is going to be held on September 23rd to 25th at the Anaheim Convention Center. Or I think is it Long Beach Convention Center?
Anaheim.
Oh, is it Anaheim? Okay.
You're obviously not going.
So on the last day of the conference, each year General Assembly convenes where city officials can participate in the development of policy. And so this is the opportunity for council to identify the voting delegate and up to 2 alternates to attend that portion of the meeting. Our understanding is at this point, council members currently registered for the event include Councilmember Gama, Councilmember Lopez, and Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez. And so with that, we're happy to answer any questions, but we recommend the council choose a voting delegate and up to 2 alternates.
Well, you two usually alternate, but
Well, Jess
Does
is going
he-
this year.
Yeah,
does
I'd like
he
to
want
nominate.
Yeah, I was going to mention, does he want to?
Yeah,
I would I'd like to nominate Jess to assume the lead role.
And I'll be an alternate. And you'll be an alternate.
Okay, is there a suggestion for an alternate?
Both of them, Mayor Pro Tem
Oh.
and Councilmember Graba.
Oh, okay, okay.
Do we need to choose an
Um,
order? Do we need to choose
No.
an order for that or no?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Does he know when he has to?
Yes, he will know when he gets to, he will know.
Yeah.
What? You're gonna know?
Okay, is
What he's gonna be voting on.
No, I
And
mean, usually, does he know he has to stay late? You don't get to leave early and.
It's the last session.
It's Friday.
I'll be there with
Yeah, I noticed they didn't
Yeah.
mention that
It's a
before
Friday.
they
We
asked
end
you
up
if you
staying that-
wanted to
we
do
all
that.
I'm
end
not
up
going
staying
anywhere.
Anyway.
It's fun.
anything else, any further discussion about this item? Is there any public comments?
No public comments.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved?
Second.
Great, no discussion. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Goma,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Yes.
and Mayor McQueen LeJean.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, great. So that was our last item. We don't have any future agenda items. And so we'll move to city managers' comments and reports.
Thank you. And I have a couple of slides. I'll keep brief because I know we're late, but I wanted to highlight a couple of things. You want to? Okay. So we wanted to highlight a couple of things in addition to all the amazing things that Recreation is doing this month. We wanted to highlight some of the things that we're doing citywide. First, we just want to thank everybody for joining us at Hueneme Beach Festival, and including the council and attending and doing the ceremonial portion. We had over 17,000 attendees this year. We finally got the the metal detectors to get upgraded to be able to track the actual number of people going through. So, yeah, so we
have to count them by hand?
No. So it's for the first time we actually have a real count, probably in the history of Beach Fest.
yeah.
So 17,000, which is funny because the estimate had been 15 to 20,000. So it's actually like right in there. But 17,000 attendees for 2 fun days of music, carnival rides, food, beach soccer, which the beach soccer just seems to keep growing as well. So we wanted to thank everybody and remind everybody to start making plans to join us next year for next year's Beach Fest. We also just wanted to highlight, we're working on some accessibility improvements near Hueneme Elementary. We know that it doesn't look like much now, and the photo there shows that, but these are ADA accessibility and pedestrian safety improvements that we're working and trying to get in place before, by the end of this month and before the start of the new school year. So I think the community would agree that that is a worthy cause to try to get those projects completed as a priority. So we're working on that now and through the end of this month. We mentioned Parks and Rec Month, so I won't go over this too much other than to remind everybody that Friday is the first S'mores by the Shore event. Saturday is Kite Day at the beach, which is, that one's really turned into a big event where even just walking around the city, I have people ask, when are we going to do that again? So we're going to try to get the word out to everybody that it's coming back. And then that night, there will also be a movie on the beach. So a lot coming up this weekend to highlight recreation, Parks and Recreation Month. And then for August 17th, we have started to put an agenda together. We have the quarterly employee recognition for presentations. We have on the consent calendar, we have the item to
Coastal cleanup.
yeah, initiate and kick off California Coastal Cleanup Day. Under public hearing, we have a short-term rental ordinance draft returning to council after the prior discussion about a month ago. We have the Banana Festival special use permit coming to council And then for business items, we have the audit, which is the annual comprehensive financial review coming to council at that meeting, which has now been completed by the auditor as of last week. And then we have the Hueneme Hero Award policy review that was discussed. I also mentioned in one of the earlier items that if the joint agreement was going to be approved, we'd probably include that on this agenda to start talking about the projects that or projects and the process that the city wants to proceed with that. So, so that may or may not necessitate moving the Hero Award policy review back a month or a meeting, but we'll put that together and see what it looks like. And so that's everything we have for the council today, but I'm here for any questions, but I'm turning it back over to the mayor.
I have a question, Mayor.
Go right ahead, Councilmember Lopez.
So during the Beach Fest, you know, the poster award, did we present at the Beach Fest, or are we going to present here at council?
So we actually are planning to present it at that meeting. It would be, I think we were debating whether it was going to be a presentation or a business item, so it's going to be that August, what date was that again? 17th meeting, I think?
17th.
Yeah, so we'll plan to present it there.
And last question, will we have like an out brief on the beach festival?
Yes, so we also are planning to do that. And I think the reason why we don't have it on the list is because when we put this list together, we were still working on Beach Fest. So we didn't know how long it would take to do like the, like a summary and everything, but we would plan to bring that at that meeting. So.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, was that your council report out, Councilmember Lopez? If not,
no, I can. No, I have a couple things. So we did have a Hueneme Housing Inc. meeting, and the directors, we signed off on an elevator modernization contract. The service elevator at Mar Vista was way past its service life, often broken, and didn't have the complete ADA compliance, so we got that on contract, tracking that. And one interesting thing, looking at the annual budget approval for Hueneme Housing Inc., $485,000 in payroll, city housing staff. Looks like HHI is gonna end up picking up that staffing from our housing. So I don't know how that's gonna actually play out, but that was a very positive thing. Economic Development Collaborative was dark, and our Veterans Ad Hoc was dark, so those are the only things I had to report out on. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Perez?
Yes, and I'll add a little bit to the Housing Inc. We had a presentation by the Ventura County Coastal Association of Realtors that I think we should get to the city. They had a great presentation on the state of housing, specifically low income and all the issues that Ventura County is facing with. So I think we should have that here, if it's possible to get Rob over here. We also talked about the pantry that we're creating to help with the residents who have food issues. That'll be a regular access point for them to be able to get food at the end of the month. And Salvation Army will be helping in conjunction with Food Share to fill that. And we'll possibly be doing donations throughout the year as well. Anybody who wants to donate to the pantry can do so as well. I think there was one more item that we discussed. That was a pretty long meeting, but it was very informative.
Rental protections.
Yes, he talked about rental protections. There's a couple of issues that we're dealing with that we're going to be meeting and discussing with residents. It's very active engagement from the community over there, and I think the board was a great addition to helping that community get involved with everything that's going on. I think there was one more. I left my notes at home, so I don't remember. It was a long meeting. We were there until about 6 o'clock. I think that's it.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Gama?
Yes, I'm very pleased to hear that the elevator is going to be taken care of at Mar Vista. I know it's been a problem for some time, so that's really positive. I attended the Ventura County Animal Services meeting last week, I believe, and the new director, executive director, Esteban Rodriguez, he's doing a wonderful job, and he brought to us a mobile spay and neuter program. So we have a truck now, and it's going out, and I think it's done like over 400. And we really believe that we could get out of this overcapacity dilemma that we're in by taking spay and neuter on wheels into the communities that produce puppies and cats, yeah. And so it's really exciting time. It's the first time ever, and we're hoping that for the first time in many years we could get below capacity because the system's just being stretched thin. There's several rescue organizations that are highly active and at capacity in Ventura County, so the director's doing a wonderful job. I just attended the Beacon meeting. I was in Oklahoma, so it was a little bit choppy. I did it by Zoom on my phone in a coffee cup. It was kind of weird. But yes, and we were talking about a lot of complex projects that Beacon's involved in, grants and other things that benefit the entire jurisdiction, coastline, including Hueneme, and some of the things that are exciting. As a young person growing up, one of the things that I always remember seeing was this massive kelp forest off the 101 freeway and all the way up to Malibu. And if you look for it now, you can't find it. Why? Because El Nino wiped it out. And the kelp forests are super important to the climate ecosystem, and the climate produces a massive amount of oxygen. And so nature developed this forest on its own, and now that it got wiped out in El Nino, it hasn't been able to regenerate itself. And the way kelp grows on sand is it's like 1 in a million type of thing, whereas when kelp anchors to rock, it's much more productive and successful. And so Beacon's been involved in this kelp restoration project. It's a grant, and it's beginning to be successful, and it's kind of neat. It's a whole story about sustainability, which I won't bore you with, but basically they found a way to anchor the kelp to a bollard that has a spot for the octopus to live in, and then the octopus keeps the kelp crabs under control so that the kelp could grow and hopefully become a forest. And it's really important because kelp keeps sediment near the shore. So when you see rain and you see the runoff, you see the brown water. When there's that forest of kelp out there, it kind of holds all that sediment back close so it can settle onto the beaches. So, it's not going to solve our problem, but it's a little bit. And then, of course, we had a nice conversation today with Beacon, and I think my conversations are always going to be with Mark as I start working on 2 years out for dredging, and I think that's the direction I hope that we go. Yeah. Oklahoma is a wonderful state, and I had the privilege to visit the Oklahoma City bombing memorial site today, and what a beautiful site. And it just made me think how good local governments can be. They did such a wonderful job in honoring that terrible day.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. Real quickly, I attended the Oxnard stakeholders meeting on immigration last week. Our VCOG admin meeting, we're planning a future meeting with Ventura County OES to get a forecast on El Nino. We'll be going to the EOC there, and we are also getting presentations. Well, We did ask for a presentation for the city managers on food vendors, so you'll be getting a presentation on that at city managers meeting. Also attended last week the National Association of Latino Elected Officials for their 43rd annual conference. It was very good. Sat in on the Beacon meeting, also very informative. And I would like to request that we adjourn in memory of Andy Ortiz, who died suddenly last week. He was chair of the Firewise Communities organization. He's also former assistant chief with Ventura County Fire Department, and I worked with him when I was with the county, and his services are on Thursday. That's Andy Ortiz. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I'm traveling, you all, I'm sure you know that now. And so just really appreciate you all bearing with me and my technical difficulties tonight. I do appreciate you all for not holding it all against me. I am going to be sharing my schedule with Mayor Pro Tem. I'll be back on the weekend, and then I'll be there a week and gone again for another week, and then back for 4 days and then gone another week. So I'll be pretty busy over this next month. And so just want to really thank Georgiana and the staff for accommodating my needs, and James for taking a meeting for me. And so just appreciate you all's support. So that's all I have. I just been participating in my regular meetings, so nothing to report tonight. If there isn't anything else, we will, just a quick reminder for the community that we will not have a council meeting on the first Monday. We will be back a third Monday, which is I think August the 17th at 6:30. And we will adjourn tonight's meeting on under the name of Andy Ortiz. And we will adjourn at 9:58. Thank you all, and we'll talk to you soon.